Ladies and gentlemen, hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. For those of you who don't know what I have in my hand, this is the infamous Pope's pipe. And what this does is this, depending on how the Vatican decides to slip it in, this is the method of slipping it in from two different methodologies. One, as you well know, is the Pope's pipe can go in either butt end first, which is butt end. This is the butt end, and it rings. It rings with a special. This is only aluminum. If I had the other half of the Pope's pipe, it would ring special. This is how the Vatican slips it in, butt end first. For those paying attention, when they extort $50,000 from you for an annulment for a wedding, if it's 6 months or more, $75,000 for an annulment for a wedding or the marriage that's been in place for 2 years, let's say. They are basically extortionists. This is the butt end first. If they're giving you an annulment for $50,000 or $75,000. Now, if you are a practitioner of the church and you're a congregation member that goes there every week and your monies are counted electronically, then what they do is they take the butt end and they place it in a private place, and they give you, this is what the Vatican gives you. They slip it in easy. This is the easy end. Now we're going to relate the Vatican and Cebu, the lovely Cebu, where all you smell is poo-poo-pa-doo. There is nothing. So we're going to move away from the Vatican temporarily, and we're going to talk about the sights and sounds of Cebu. Now, as you can see from my disheveled look, I got up Friday morning at 5 o'clock. I got up Thursday morning at 5 o'clock to go to Cebu to pick up my container with my goods from America in the container. And I got it. After being screwed royally by every person I dealt with in the shipping business, freight business, and now customs brokers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a series. I was royally screwed. Well, I thought it was 125,000 pesos, but that was last week, which is $2,500. Okay, what I was screwed for is we're going to add to the 125,000 pesos. We're going to add 40,000 pesos to the screwing I took from the shipping company called shippingquest.com because they failed to do their due diligence on their paperwork, which made the container in America sit on the ground for an additional 6 or 7 days. Because they didn't do their paperwork, there was a $630 charge for their paperwork not being done for the container sitting on the ground. A $325 charge for the late fees for the paperwork. So that was $935. Then, in addition to that, I gave shippingquest.com $300 to ship my container and pay for the shipping. They didn't pay the shipping. They, in turn, gave the container to a company called ECU Worldwide, who said, we're going to ship the container, but you owe us $658. Shipping Quest owes us $568. Shipping Quest owes us $568, and Shipping Quest owes us $635 for the ground demurrage charges, and $325, bringing the total to around $1,600 with some other incidentals. So I paid Shipping Quest the full amount of monies in advance to pick up my goods and the truck. Shipping Quest was paid 100% in advance. They sent me a truck. The truck came. I loaded the truck. And then they charged me 3 additional hours of overtime, which was eventually reduced to 2 hours of overtime. But it wasn't overtime. They sent the truck at 100% the wrong time. We agreed for a 10 a.m. delivery. They sent it at 7 a.m. So they raped me for $200 for overtime because they sent the truck out. The door, please. They sent the truck out 3 hours early. They sent the truck out 3 hours, order it 3 hours early. For 2 weeks, the woman named Stephanie that runs Shipping Quest, for whoever owns it, no one knows. She sent the truck out 3 hours early, and they extorted $300, then $200 reduced fee. Hello, Carl. Welcome to the machine, my friend. Welcome to the machine. And thank you once again for all your assistance and help. Stephanie basically took the Pope's pipe. Here's the Pope's pipe, butt end first. She borrowed the Pope's pipe from the Vatican. They all borrowed the Pope's pipe from the Vatican, and they all put the Pope's pipe in my low boot for dry. So here's the Pope's pipe, and this is the sound the Pope's pipe makes when they're jamming it up your low boot. When they put it in the low boot, this is the sound the Pope's pipe makes. Actually, it's a little bit more of a ringing. We have to add some mileage to it. This is a little bit of what the sound sounds like, but not exactly. So Stephanie from shippingquest.com took the Pope's pipe, shoved it in the butt end first. This is the butt end. You could tell this is the butt end because this is the thick end. And when it's up your boot, this is the only thing you can hear, that the Pope's pipe is in there. It's in there deep. It's going, it's going, it's going, it's gone, baby. This is the Pope's pipe that Shipping Quest stuck in my low boot because I paid them in advance and they didn't pay their $658 fee to ECU.com. So I call up Tony Peruzzi at ECU.com, and Tony Peruzzi says, yes, Michael, this should not be, the onus of this bill should not be on you. And I have that on videotape, and I have it in an email format that Shipping Quest owes ECU $658 plus $635 demurrage charges plus $325 for late fees. Tony made this perfectly clear in the conversation I had on the phone with Tony. So he calls up Shipping Quest, and this woman named Stephanie at Shipping Quest says, no, Tony, this is a lie. This part is a lie. No, Tony, Michael Fazio has agreed to pay these charges. I never agreed to pay these charges. She just said those words. Now, Tony illegally put us on a 3-way conversation. I think it was illegal. So I have that on a conversation that I have to find out if it's legal, but that conversation is going to the Federal Maritime Commission. So Stephanie says, no, Tony, Michael has agreed. Why would I agree to pay Shipping Quest's $658 shipping fee when I already paid her $3,500 to ship the goods? I would not do that. So Shipping Quest took the Pope's pipe and shoved it in my labut because here's the scam. Here's the rub. This is the perfect scandal. It's the perfect scam. Shipping Quest takes my money and doesn't pay their bill. They don't care about that the freight stayed on the ground in New Jersey for a week, and they don't care about the extra $1,000 in charges in New Jersey. They don't care about that because they said if the shipper, that's me, or the shippee, I don't know, that everybody is the shipper in this thing. ECU is the shipper, Shipping Quest is the shipper, Maersk Shipping Lines is the shipper, and Michael Fazio is the shipper. They call us the shipper. All four parties, they call the shipper. Michael Fazio has agreed to pay the charges, knowing that he has to pay these charges to get his goods when it gets to Cebu. I never agreed to any such thing. There was no such thing in writing. There was no such thing in a recording. There was no such conversation. Stephanie just took my money and didn't pay her bill. Tony said, Michael, this shouldn't be your problem. Tony from ECU said, this shouldn't be your problem. Let me talk to Stephanie. Well, he talked to Stephanie on the phone, and when I stepped in on the three-way conversation, which may or may not have been legal, but it was Tony initiated the call. I did not initiate the call. Stephanie said, this is Michael's bill. He agreed to pay it. I went apeshit. I said, I never agreed to pay that. And with that, either Tony hung Stephanie up or Stephanie hung up knowing I was on the phone. I don't know which one. So there's a scandal right there. So when I continued the phone call with Tony, he said, Michael, let me email her. Let my manager, Mark, email her. So Mark said, this is leading to Cebu. This is leading to the shitstorm that I encountered in Cebu. It gets worse. It gets worse. Okay, so now Tony emails her, Michael shouldn't have to be responsible for these bills. And she emails back, Tony, Michael's responsible for these bills. If he wants to pick up his goods in Cebu, he's going to have to pay these bills. Knowing they were her bills, she doesn't give a flying crap that they were her bills. She doesn't care about that because she knows that each day the container sits on the ground in Cebu, it's costing me $60 a day. $60 a day for demurrage. Okay, so I fight with them for 2 days, and I come to the conclusion that I'm going to have to pay 125,000 pesos in additional charges, $2,500, of which $400 are ground charges in Cebu, which Stephanie told me there'd be a small ground charge in Cebu. I was thinking, I said, like what, $100, $200? She said, yeah. Well, it was $400. So let's just say that of the 125,000 pesos, 105,000 pesos of that money is because Shipping Quest didn't pay their bill and the container sat on the ground. So that's $2,100. But it gets worse. It gets a lot worse. So in order to clear through customs my container, Stephanie or ECU, I never got a straight answer from my customs broker. Oh, my customs broker. You want to know about my customs broker? My customs broker, he borrowed the Pope's pipe from the Vatican too, and he shoved it in about this far. Dry. He shoved the Pope's pipe in dry about 14 or 15 inches. Hard to tell when you're bent over getting shoved up with the Pope's pipe. Hard to tell how much is in, how much there is to go. But I'll tell you before the end of this video how much the customs broker had left, because he shoved it all in, folks. He left no part of the Pope's pipe unexposed. The entire Pope's pipe was in there. I think he had a fucking rope on the end of the Pope's pipe that he could pull it out. That's what I think, because the customs broker was worse than ECU and worse than Shipping Quest. ECU, Shipping Quest, and the customs broker. And why was he worse? Because I sat across the table from this guy, and he sat there with a smile on his face, and everything he said was a lie. Everything. There was nothing that he said was the truth. There was one piece of information that he said was the truth, just one, and I don't remember what it was. But if I do, I'll make note of it. I told Warren what the truth was. I told him, I just talked to him on the phone. So we enter Cebu now. I'm in Cebu. And now ECU says you owe us 125,000 pesos. So I pay 98,000 pesos of that, because 25,000 pesos of that was ground time, but it wasn't 25,000 pesos. It went up. That ECU's bill went up to 44,000 pesos, actually 45,000 pesos. ECU's demurrage charges in Cebu went up to 45,000 pesos. My customs broker agreed to pay 5,000 pesos of that because he was at fault, because he didn't tell me I needed an NBI clearance that would have cost me exactly $1. That's why all these charges occurred on the Cebu end of the trip. That was the one part that really irked me the most. He could have told me I needed an NBI clearance when I met him on June 10th, but he didn't tell me. Out of stupidity, out of ignorance, out of fucking blatant disrespect for myself and the customers, he didn't tell me about that. So let's talk about the name of the customs brokerage firm. The name of that firm is Ding Abay. Ding Abay. D-I-N-G, Abay, A-B-A-Y, A-B-A-Y, customs broker in Cebu. He didn't tell me about, now here you're going to say, how could he not tell you about a memorandum stating unequivocally that you have to get a customs NBI clearance and a tax identification number to get your goods? So let me show you that memorandum in law, dated April 25th, 2019, taking effect on May 3rd. So he knew about this 37 days before I met him on the phone. And he didn't tell me about this. In 37 days, I could have got my clearance twice. Takes 2 to 3 weeks. So it ended up taking 3 weeks. I could have got my clearance twice and still had free time on the ground. So let me show you the memorandum that Ding Abay did not make me aware of. And what he did was he shoved this Pope's pipe into my labut all the way. All the way he shoved it in there. And I gave him the opportunity to make amends by paying the additional 44,000 pesos to ECU plus 13,000 pesos to Port Authority of Cebu. He declined the opportunity to pay those bills. He said, Mike, this is water under the bridge now. While I was sitting in his office yesterday, July 20th, 2019. Water under the bridge, I said. It's water under the bridge because you didn't pay the 49,000 peso late charges. That's why it's water under the bridge. You're paying 5,000 pesos in late charges when all of these charges are your responsibility. So let me prove that one point to you so that we can be perfectly clear that I am telling you the truth. And I'm going to do that by showing you the email and or this PDF. So what you see here, thanks, Ding. Sorry for the inconvenience. Now there was more to it. Okay, I'm not gonna show you the whole thing because the rest of it's my email address. Okay, so I'm gonna read you the memorandum that this man sent me that I need a customs clearance. Now he didn't send this to me until, let me see if I can get the date on here. He sent this to me on July 21st. He didn't send it to me on June 10th when I met him. So in other words, from June 10th to July 21st, 40 days passed after he got this memorandum and didn't send me a notice. So here's his effing excuse why he didn't send me a memorandum. Let me break it down for you. Hi, Sir Michael. It's just unfortunate that this customs memo has just been implemented. Now, that's an effing lie, and I'll prove that to you in a moment. That's an effing lie. That's a big effing lie, Ding. The customs memo was implemented May 3rd, 2019. It's just unfortunate that this customs memo has just been implemented a few months after the objection from the importers, who have first and last clearance importations like you. Thus, our application for clearance will be forwarded to Manila for approval by the Office of the Commissioner. The timetable approval is 1 to 2 weeks after the compliance of the documentary requirements like NBI clearance and tax ID number, tax identification number. Kindly see attached memo for reference. I demanded this because he said in a phone call conversation, this is a new memo that just came out and that there was no reason. This is what this fucking guy said. This is a new memo and there's no reason to make note of it because on the second line, after a few months of objection from the importers, that's him. So he and other importers objected to this law. So he didn't tell me about, I need a customs clearance that would have cost me $1 and I would have been able to get in the time frame that he provided, that before the container got to the Philippines. I met him on June 10th. The container arrived June 24th. And I could have had the NBI, and it took 2 weeks to get my NBI and 2 weeks to get my tax identification number. So I would have had it within a day or so, plus I got 3 days, 10 free days on the ground. I would have had 100% whatever was necessary to eliminate 49,000 pesos of ground charges and late fees. So he is responsible. I'll show you at the bottom of this. We're going to go see the attached memo. We're going to preview it. Okay. We're going to preview the menu. Okay. We're going to expand it to the full page. And then we're going to read it. Okay. We're going to read what it says. Bureau of Customs, 1099 Manila. Dated April 25th, 2019. Certified law goes into effect May 3rd, 2019. This subject is revoking Customs Memorandum Order number 44, 2009. Registration of once-a-year importer. Previously first and last importation scheme. Everything in the Philippines is a scheme. Okay, so whereas, and the number, as supplemented, and the number, embodies the revised guidelines for registration of importers and customs brokers with the Bureau of Customs. Whereas, directs the Account Management Office to submit for approval the Office of the Commissioner all applications for renewal, reapplication, reinstatement, suspension, revocation, or cancellation. Whereas, provides for the registration once-a-year importer, bill of lading, etc., etc. Whereas once-a-year importer application is filed to evaluate the CSS officer in charge, whereas the registration of once-a-year importer is limited to the importation 1 year, 365 days, whereas there is no need to centralize the accreditation of importers under the AMO of the uniformity requirements. So what this says basically is that now, from May 3rd on, all recipients of goods, whether they're commercial or residential, household, whatever, have to have an NBI clearance. And this was dated April 25th and made law May 3rd. So because he, AKA the importers, disagreed with this law, this guy drops the ball, doesn't mention this to me, and rings up 49,000 additional pesos in late fees and ground charges that I have to pay for if I want to receive my goods. Now I'm going to go back to the live stream. I don't know if there's what the comments are. I haven't been reading. So basically, the shipping quest knows that I have to pay any charges they rack up in America if I want to get my goods. That's extortion. They knew this, and this has been going on for years. And ECU is complicit with shippingquest.com because there are now 33 cases in the last 18 months against Shipping Quest for fraud and or excessive charges after the fact of 33 cases have been filed against Shipping Quest. There are 50 plus cases against Shipping Quest to the Better Business Bureau because they have a fake internet address of, so they were based out of New York, internet only. There is no physical address. So right now it's about 80 plus charges against Shipping Quest that ECU, Tony Perosi, told me he knew about in a phone call conversation. He knows they're fraudulent and he's trying to get the money from them for me, but there's not much he can do about it. And one way or another, these charges have to be paid by Michael Fazio if I want to receive my goods. So Tony Perosi, who takes the direct orders from Shipping Quest in Newark, New Jersey, who is the manager for ECU in New Jersey, is complicit with Shipping Quest because he knows they have 80 plus charges against them. At this point, when I first started making these videos, which won't never stop, when I only knew about 33 charges, but subsequently I found out about 50 additional charges against Shipping Quest through the Better Business Bureau of New York and the Federal Maritime Commission, who's in charge of shipping containers. Apparently, these people do nothing. Shipping Quest, because these people do nothing, doesn't change their fraud schedule or their scam schedule. ECU doesn't refuse orders from Shipping Quest because they're not held responsible. Michael Fazio, in this case, having the goods shipped, is held accountable because if I want my goods, I have to pay their charges. Tony racked up these charges, is as much at fault. He racked up $1,000 in late fees. Shipping Quest, because of their fraudulent schedule, not paying their bills, racked up $600, but total between the two, $1,601 US. ECU Philippines has an office in Cebu. I went there. She and the office manager of billing, Lourdell, said, Michael, let me see what I could do to get these charges reduced or eliminated. On the phone, I said, okay. The next day, she sends me an email with the billing directed to me. So originally, the billing was directed at Shipping Quest from ECU New Jersey branch, from Tony Perosi. Originally, all the billing that I have that I could show you in email format is directed at Shipping Quest. I fight this through Tony. Tony says you'll have to deal with ECU Cebu. I go to ECU Cebu. They said, let me see what we can do inter-office-wise between shipping ECU Cebu and ECU Newark, New Jersey. A day goes by. She sends me an email with all the billing directed at me, telling me I owe them 81,000 pesos, or $1,601. Okay? Now, it gets worse. So I pay that. And at the same time, in the same day, I asked ECU Lourdell, this lying, scamming woman, I asked her, do I owe you any more money? And she says, no, nothing. 100% we're clear. You're clear to get your goods. So I call up my customs broker. My customs broker says, we are going to file the paperwork to get your goods. It's going to take 5 business days. So that was Friday afternoon. I paid the bill. I'll give you the exact dates so that we can keep track of this. I'll give you the exact dates. On Friday afternoon, on the 19th, at 11 o'clock in the morning, Friday morning, 11 o'clock, on the 19th of July, I paid the 81,000 pesos plus 18,000 pesos, or 17,000 pesos in change. I paid to ECU. At that point, Lourdell says, you are clear to pick up your goods. I call my broker. He says it takes 5 business days to clear the paperwork with customs. Why, I don't know. So let's go 5 business days, 19th. So we go 20. We'll even give him the half a day. So I should have been able to clear my goods on the 26th of July. But no, on the 29th, he tells me call him on Monday because nothing happens over the weekend. Monday, he tells me Tuesday the 30th. On the 30th, he tells me Wednesday, not yet. Now we're going into wait a second. I made a mistake. We have to back everything up by 1 week. On July 12th, I paid that money. So on the 19th, it should have been good. So on the 22nd, he tells me the 23rd. On the 23rd, he tells me the 24th. On the 24th, the 25th, the 26th, he tells me the 29th. Right? Wait. Got to back that up another week because this is the 21st. So I paid him on the 12th, the 19th. No, okay, I paid it on the 5th. I paid it July 5th. So I should have had it on July 19th. And each day up until July 19th, he said no. So I ended up getting the goods on July 19th. Today's the 21st. This is really confusing. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Okay, so now I'm clear to pick up the goods on the 19th yesterday. But before I can pick up the goods on the 19th, on the 18th, or the 17th, my customs broker says, Mike, we have one small problem. I said, what's the problem? He goes, you owe an additional 49,000 pesos. For what? That's $1,000. He tells me, well, ECU in the Philippines is charging me $600 US for ground charges for the container sitting on the ground for 3 weeks. Since my July 4th deadline expired, they called it 3 weeks because it went into the 3rd week. They're charging me for 3 weeks, ground charges, $600. But customs is also charging me 13,000 pesos. So ECU's ground charges were 33,000 and customs were 13,000. So it was 46,000 pesos, not 46,000 pesos. No. Yeah. 46,000 pesos, not 49. I got the numbers transversed. So, but either way, I had to pay the 46,000 pesos. So I had to pay that, and I paid it on the 17th or the 18th. I don't know. I gave him the money on the 17th. He paid the bill. So I think he got it in at 10 minutes to 5 on the 17th. So I paid an additional $1,000 plus the $1,600 or $2,600 in late fees because Shipping Quest didn't do their due diligence and the container sat on the ground. And my customs broker, ding a bye, did not tell me about the NBI clearance. This gets worse. It gets worse. This is not the beginning. It's not the end. It's the middle. So Friday, July 26th, July 19th, Friday, he tells me the 18th, come and pick up your goods on the 19th. The order's been cleared after 2 days. So on the 19th, I get there and I tell him, I'm going to be at your office. Now, if there's one thing you people need to understand about me is I'm never late. I'm never late. If I'm late, some catastrophe occurred because I'm never late. That's why I named my business On Time Backhoe. That's why it says On Time Backhoe on my business, because I'm never late. Never late for school, never late for work, never late for a job. Never late. You could count the number of times I've been late in my life on 2 hands. Mrs. Heminger is here. YouTube's greatest troll. I don't care what they say about Aloe. You are YouTube's greatest troll and always will be. Welcome to the machine. So, I pay the money and I go and I tell him, I am going to be at your office at 8 o'clock. He says, no, come at 9. We'll have a driver waiting for you at 9 o'clock. I get there at 8:30 because I don't believe this horse shit. I get there a half hour early so I can wake the driver up. I know I'm going to have to wake the driver up, and I did. I get there at 8:30, his office, full staff at his office at 8:30. Where's my driver? Hold on, we're going to call him. All right, sir, he's going to be on his way in a few minutes. What do you mean he's going to be on his way in a few minutes? He's supposed to be here at 9 o'clock. Yes, sir. 9:30 comes around. He's still not here. I call up. I go to the office manager, Renee. Where is he? He's on his way, so I'll be here in a few minutes. Well, a few minutes turned into a few minutes after 10 o'clock. So I sat. So basically, had I not gone there at 8:30, I had to wait an hour and a half for the man to get there. When he got there, he was well-dressed, happened to be the owner's son, very personable, likable person. There's no doubt about it. Well-mannered, well-groomed. The car was immaculate clean. Nothing can I say negative about the owner's son. Perfect gentleman, 23 years old, unbelievable, articulate in English and all many different, converse in many different subject matters. Wonderful young man. So he takes us to the container so that I make sure my container goods were not tampered with. Honey, where's my bag? There is no honey here. Okay. My goods were not tampered with. I opened the container. He takes us out to lunch. A nice lunch at, thank God it's Fridays. An amazing lunch. I ordered a rare hamburger, extra rare. I got it medium rare. That's all you're going to get in the Philippines. They will not cook your hamburger rare here. It was a delicious hamburger. Fries were extra crispy like I asked them. Daisy had a smoked salmon. Unbelievable. Loved it. It was delicious. He had a hamburger. We had a nice conversation. He takes me back to the office. Now, with this, the owner of Dinga Bye Bye, customs broker in Cebu, thinks everything is going to be beautiful because he bought me lunch. It cost him about 1,500 pesos for lunch, about $30 for Daisy and I lunch. Hamburgers at good, thank God it's Friday. I'll give you the pricing. $5.75 for their deluxe burger, 75 pesos for a 9-ounce can of soda. Daisy's was $6.75, 75 pesos, cost about 1,500 pesos. So we're talking 5, 6, 11, 13, about 1,350 pesos, roughly. Okay, go back to the office and we go over the paperwork, and Dinga Bye Bye, he's got that big smile on his face because I dropped 200,000 pesos on his office desk. And while I put that money on his table, and I have a video of this, I'm going to abuse him because he's not going to debate me on the fact that he dropped the ball. He is not going to say an effing word. He is not going to do anything but agree with me because there's 200,000 pesos on his desk, which is 4,000 US dollars. He is going to agree with everything I say because he is one of these backstabbing, low-life, lying sons of bitches that smiles at you every time he's jamming it up your butt and then tries to make a joke out of it. So I put the money on the table and I count out 189,000 pesos. And then I start talking about how he screwed me by not telling me about the NBI clearance, and that the additional 46,000 pesos, or roughly $1,000, should be his responsibility. And what does this guy do? He laughs. Mike, this is water under the bridge now. We have to move on from here. Total fucking conversation from the typical fucking scammer. That is the typical con artist's conversation. Not going to relinquish responsibility to himself, is going to say we have to move on to our next project, is going to say that's water under the bridge because it didn't cost him an effing penny. It cost me the additional 46,000 pesos, which is $900. So he says with a big smile on his face, we have to move on. Mike, it's water under the bridge. And I ripped him a new asshole. I just ripped him a new asshole. I said, this is water under the bridge because you're not paying the bill. This is water under the bridge because you screwed up. And he doesn't say a word. Got to remember, there's 200,000 pesos on his desk right now in front of him. He's not going to say a word. Even though he still has my goods, he sees that I'm going to pay this bill, and he's eating shit big time. And he's got a smile on his face while he's eating shit. And I'm giving him shit, okay? There ain't no doubt about it. I'm dishing shit out at about 2 miles a minute, and he's slurping it up without missing a drop. So I tell him, you don't care about this because you screwed up and I'm paying the bill, but you will care about this. You will care about this. It will become something you will care about in the future because you're not going to eat this 46,000 pesos, right? He goes, no, I will not. I said, okay. All right. Well, I gave you the opportunity to make good on the part of the project that you dropped the ball on. You didn't give me the NBI clearance notification. You didn't give me the tax identification information. We ran up 46,000 pesos. It actually was 49,000 pesos. There were additional charges that weren't on his bills, but did accrue, and he had to eat that. So, but he billed me 46,000 pesos. So when I said 49, it was 49, but he only billed me for 46. There were 3,000 additional pesos in the memorandums from ECU and Cebu Port Authority. So you're not going to eat it. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to pay the bill. I said, okay, but let me tell you something, Ding. I'm going to make ECU famous. I'm going to make Shipping Quest famous. I'm going to make videos about this. He said, that's your right. I said, but you know, what I really want to do is make commercials for you. So how about you just give me 8,000 pesos and I will make commercials for your company, and that money will subsidize part of my loss. And I'll just eat the other 38,000 pesos in loss. And he tells me no. Just like that, no. Because he's not stupid, this guy. He's smart. He knew what I was asking him. I told him, look, help me compensate for some of my loss. I'll do commercials for your company and I'll get you business in Cebu. He goes, no, just straight no. No explanation, nothing added to the no, I will not do that. I said, you sure you don't want to do this? He goes, I'm positive. I said, okay, I'll pay you all your money. I'll give you 189,000 pesos now. I've given you 125,000 pesos the last time I was here. Excuse me. No, I gave you 25,000 pesos cash the last time, and I'll pay you an additional 50,000 pesos, which covers the bill of, honey, where's that bill? Well, here it is right here. Let me show it to you. And I'm going to show you the bill right now. This way we know there's no bullshit here. Let me see what I can show you and what I can't show you. Okay, it's not clear, but it is true. Okay, so I have the bill here. I'm going to show this to you. I have to just read it to make sure I'm not giving out any of my personal information. No, okay. Okay, so the name of the customs broker is LRA Customs Broker. Okay, so let's just start out with that. LRA Customs Broker. LRA. LRA Customs Broker. Billed Michael Fazio the following bills for the following monies. Those monies total, the total is 264 200,000 pesos total. That's the total right there. $264,000 pesos bill to Michael Fazio, of which I agree that I still owe Ding a bye-bye or LRA Customs Brokerage 50,000 pesos, which is my balance. And that will be paid as soon as I get a bill from the barangay captain whose electrical wires the truck knocked down. So I'm gonna give him the bill, and I'm gonna see if he's gonna pay for the damages that the truck did to the wires. So I paid Ding a bye-bye $5,000. Now that covered what that covered for Ding a bye-bye or LRA Customs Brokers. What that covered is him making arrangements for me to get my goods, and he had no idea that there were going to be 100+ phone calls and emails involved. He had no idea that he was going to have to deal with customs at least a dozen times, ECU 2 dozen times. He had no idea. And what he charged me for that service was, here's what he charged me. Okay, let me tell you how he charged me. I remember clearly. Okay, he told me to get my goods from Cebu to Bohol. 2 ways I could do it. I could give him, and now this is covering not the cost of the truck, the shipping of the trucks, not that cost, but it's covering him making arrangements to get the trucks from Cebu to Bohol and my goods from Cebu to Bohol. 100,000 pesos or $2,000. He makes all the arrangements. Plus, he arranged for me to buy an empty container and have that container shipped to Bohol. So he earned his $2,000. He picked us up. He chauffeured us around a limousine, brought us to the container. I bought the container. I'm happy with the container. I'm happy with that. I got that done the first time. But he earned his $2,000. However, and this is a big however, he had no idea how much work was going to be involved in this. And because he lied to me, it was an extra $1,000. We're just going to round it off to me. Now, one thing that he did that was a complete disaster. Okay, that wasn't a complete disaster. This was the one thing that he didn't lie about. Okay, he charged me 25,000 pesos or $500 that he's going to pay somebody at the docks to pass my container through uninspected, which means they don't have to take the goods out and put them in another on the ground and then put them back in the container. That was worth it. What he paid, I don't know. But that was the one thing he did not lie about. Okay, so, but he's not doing any more homeowners goods. He's done with homeowners. After me, he's never going to do another homeowners consignment. He said, I'm never going to do another homeowners consignment after your problem. I said, my problem was because you fucked up. My problem wasn't a problem because of me. I paid all the bills. Don't put the onus on me. You fucked up. This extra $1,000 I'm paying. How is it my problem? He goes, there was a lot of phone calls and a lot of emails. You got paid for that. You got paid $2,000 fucking dollars. Of everybody else agrees it should have been closer to $1,000. I had no idea because I think he must have called up a couple of people after I called him and said, we got a guy named Mike Fazio from America. He needs his good cleared. Don't do it for less than $2,000. He must have everybody on speed dial. That's my opinion. I can't prove that because everybody had the exact same price. Or that's the price. I don't know. But somebody told me they had, one lonely farmer told me they had good ship last year, was less. Should have been, he said it was about the right amount of money, but it could have been less. Everybody else said it should have been 1,000. Either fucking way, the guy earned his money. Okay. He did all the other stuff, but he fucked me for the 46,000 pesos that it should have been his charge. I already showed you that. So basically, on my end in Cebu, which should have been $264 less 46, whatever that is, 258. Should have been 200 to 258. Should have been 219,000 pesos, $4,000. And that covers the cost of the new container I bought, a good container, covers the cost of shipping that container. It covered the cost of shipping my goods. It covered the cost of a truck with a boom on it to get the container off. That part of the deal went pretty smooth. However, he fucked me one last time. He wasn't done fucking me yesterday, Friday morning. He was not done fucking me by far. Not done. He wasn't done. So I said, okay, I want to go with the container. He knew that right from the get-go. He said, okay, you can go with the container. I said, what time? Let's go. We went to the container. I met the trucker. The trucker says, I'm leaving at 8 o'clock with the container for the docks. I said, what time should I be there? He said, 8 o'clock. He's going to wait for me. I get there at 6:30. Big mistake. Why? The yard is full of mosquitoes. Why is it full of mosquitoes? That comes in the title. Cebu, Cebu, the lovely Cebu. You're going to see a lot of videos about Cebu, Cebu, the lovely Cebu. All you smell is poo-poo-pa-doo. All of the entire commercial district of Cebu has sewers that are spewing fountains of sewerage onto the street. Those fountains of water, of sewerage, dry and become dust, sewerage dust. And those fountains of water have now accrued 3 to 5 inches of sewerage dust at the curb line and 1/8 of an inch of dust on the average street in the commercial district of sewerage dust. It's not dirt. There's no dirt. There's no grassy areas. All of it's dust. So the sewerage is bubbling out of the ground, drying up, and becoming dust. And I have videos of this. And that dust is being moved around by the tires and then accrues at the curb line in piles of 18 to 24 to 36 inches to the full height of the curb. Solid, like a rock, out from anywhere from 10 or 12 inches to 3 feet. They do not have curb sweepers in the Philippines in the commercial district. So everywhere you walk in the commercial district and the city, 95% of all the dust on the ground is not dirt dust. It's not brake dust. It's sewerage that bubbles out of the ground and becomes dried like a dry cake, and then it becomes part of what appears to be dirt in the street, but it's sewerage, raw sewerage, dried up, turned into dust, and then you breathe it in. Now, prove this. Everybody in Cebu says the streets smell like raw sewage. Nobody will go out on a limb and say Cebu is a clean city. Everybody agrees that Cebu's streets smell like sewage. What they don't understand is why they smell like sewage. Well, first of all the sidewalks have ventilation fins in them about 1.5 inches by 10 inches, about this big. And those fins vent off the gas from the sewage, okay, the methane gas. But in a lot of places, the sewage bubbles out during a storm. There's a clog at you somewhere. A lot of places it just bubbles out of the ground and becomes the dust, becomes water, becomes a puddle. The trucks go over it. The sun comes out. It dries up. It turns into dust. Cebu is the filthiest place I have ever been in my entire life. The city of Cebu is the same, But the commercial district is where you can see these. Maybe they clean the streets in Cebu occasionally with a broom or even a broom truck. I'm not sure. I did see a broom truck by the Ayala Mall a few times. But in the commercial district, there is no such thing as street sweepers or street cleaners. And this stuff just bubbles out of the ground. And where it bubbles, you could see for 200 yards in the direction of traffic, you can see how the dust has built up from the raw sewage. This, for 4 kilometers from the commercial district to the port, this was the case. There was no street without caked up dust at the curb line. And to make matters worse, in the commercial district where I paid for all of this extortion to these companies, Robinson's Mall is on the corner, around the corner from LRA Brokers, who I paid the extortion charges to. Okay, LRA Customs Broker. So that's on Asmina Boulevard, Cebu Port Center, Cebu. Proprietor Lenador R. Abayabay. And here's his TIN number. Okay, so LRA Customs, wherever that is where this starts really getting serious with the following addendum. Okay? Could be 50 feet, could be 50 yards. Every 50 feet to 50 yards in that entire district, everywhere. And I have videos of this I'm going to post. They're going to be called the lovely Cebu Cebu Poo Poo Padu 1, Poo Poo Padu 2, Poo Poo Padu 3. Every 50 feet to 50 yards is an open panel of venting, which is 18 inches by 30 inches, where you can just fall in and 3 feet deep, or the missing 3-foot or 4-foot metal sewer cap that somebody stole for scrap metal, or an entire 4-foot section or 4-foot by 4-foot section of sidewalk is completely missing. Gone. There's no remnant of the sidewalk, except at the bottom where it fell in, where a truck went over it and broke it. And that's a 3-foot drop. So while you're walking down the sidewalk, if it was at night and you were in a hurry or on a bicycle running fast, there are entire 4-foot by 4-foot sections of the sidewalk missing. Entire sections are missing. 4-foot by 4-foot, 3-foot round sewer marks, 18 by 24, 18 by 36 inch covers, just missing. Or just plain holes in the street where the street collapsed, where the septic water made went down into the ground and caused a cavern in the street collapse. There are whole sections of the street 2 or 3 feet by 2 or 3 feet deep that are just gone. There's nothing there. You're walking down the street and there's just a 3-foot hole in the tarmac. Cebu is the filthiest place I have ever been in my entire life. I'll put up some videos this week. So now I'm going to go to the comments. Okay. Rich, One Lonely Farmer. How you doing? How you doing, Wes? I was just telling him how I was butt fucked again by the customs broker that charged me 125,000 pesos, and then because of his lack of due diligence, ran up an extra 46,000 pesos in late charges and ground fees. Absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so I see Mrs. Heminger saying, if you're rich like him, you would have moved. I don't know who he's talking about. Somebody clue me in on who Mrs. Heminger is talking about. Okay, so I think he's talking about John Doe. I know he's not talking about me, because these charges that I'm talking about, this rape and extortion that occurred to me, these are legitimate charges that people knew that they had. Well, the first $1,600 in extortion, was clear as cutting day. ShippingQuest.com didn't pay their bill and cost me $1,600 in overcharges. And the second one is LRA Customs Brokerage didn't do their due diligence and tell me I needed an NBI clearance. And let me tell you again, for those of you who are not following me, the NBI clearance that I have in my pouch over there cost me, it was 25 pesos for the computer-generated slip to go into the office. The NBI clearance, I think it was 30 pesos. I think. But there might not have been a 30. So we're talking about 55 pesos or $1. If there were two charges, it was $1. If there weren't two charges, if there were two charges, it was $1, $1.10, 110 cents. I think that's what it was, $1.10. But those were the two charges for my NBI clearance. My tax ID was free. I paid nothing for the tax ID. So those two pieces of identification to get my goods cost $1.10. But because my broker dropped the ball, LRA Customs Brokerage in Cebu, because he dropped the ball, it cost me 46,000 pesos and him 3,000 pesos that he couldn't bill me for because he sent me one bill in total for 12,000 from the Port of Authority when it was actually 13,500, and he sent me another bill for 32,000 for ECU when it was actually 34,500. Okay, so it was 49,000 pesos in overcharges, 46,000 I paid, 3,000 he paid because he fucked up on the totals. Because he goes, I paid those. I said, well, you can only bill me for something one time. He goes, that's right, I'm eating it. I said, what you really need to eat is the 46,000 pesos. He would hear none of it. So if anybody has any questions, I'll answer. One Lonely Farmer West says that's crazy. That's the truth. Now, I made 10 videos already about this. I didn't have the final bills for LRA Customs Broker, which slipped it in. And what did they slip in? You know what they slipped in. They slipped in the Pope's pipe, which hasn't made an appearance in 6 years. The Pope's pipe has been in a box. But now that LRA Customs Brokerage slipped it in, they had to borrow the Pope's pipe from the Vatican, and they rang the bell. They slipped it in, and this is what you hear when it's going in. You hear the Pope's pipe being driven in, pounded in your buttocks dry. That's the Pope's pipe. LRA, Customs Broker, slipped it in. ECU Worldwide, in connection with LRA Customs Broker, they slipped in the Pope's pipe, making a special appearance. ECU Worldwide, Newark, New Jersey, slipped it in worldwide. ShippingQuest.com, worldwide, borrowed the Pope's pipe so they could slip it in hard and dry. That's what happened to me on this deal to get my goods from America. And part of those goods were the Pope's pipe. And that's what we're going to use on a much higher and much more efficient level. Once I get all these numbers and everything in order, I'll make copies of everything. And then I'll show these copies to you online. So you could be rest assured, if there was any mistakes in my numbers, it's low mistakes. I paid more if there's anything else. Plus, I spent 5 days in Cebu at a cost of 10,000 pesos. So add another 10,000 pesos when I should not have had to spend an hour in Cebu. I could have, if this deal would have went the way it was supposed to, without all these additional phone calls and hundreds of phone calls and emails, hundreds of them, it cost me an additional $1,000 or $1,500 in time, just at $30 an hour. If you based my time on $30 an hour, it cost me I spent 50 hours on this project this month. Okay, so it didn't just cost me $7,000 for what was supposed to cost me $3,500, but $3,500 plus an additional, an additional $3,000 for the container and everything like that. Should have been $7,500. We're up to $10,000 in fees right now. It was $3,500 that I gave shipping cost, and I gave $5,000 for a new container and to have it shipped and my goods to be shipped. That's $8,500. Another $200 for my costs to go to Cebu, $8,700. But I have 50 hours of my time. Add another $1,500. It cost me $10,000 to get my goods from America to the Philippines. Now, what the goods are worth are a different story. Was it worth it? Would I do it again? Probably yes, because I just didn't want to throw out a 110-year-old cherry mahogany roll top desk or the furniture that goes with it. I didn't want to throw out 125-year-old bronze chandeliers. I didn't want to throw out 3 crystal chandeliers with a value on New York City, the lighting district, that they could get, if they were cleaned up, they could get $10,000 for these 3 chandeliers. I didn't want to throw that stuff out. For 3 chandeliers, the value in the district where they sell lighting in New York, they could easily get, for real crystal chandeliers as big as 36 inches in diameter, they could easily get $10,000 for the 3 of them, no problem. They'd have to be cleaned up and polished with light bulbs and rewired. Easily they could get $10,000. So just those 3 things were worth $10,000. And the roll top add another $5,000, and the tools, I don't know, it was worth it. But the aggravation level, and I didn't even get to the good part of the aggravation level. Let's talk about how this guy LRA fucked me again on Friday. So he tells me to go to the place where it's all sewer dust, where they have the container stored in the afternoon. We agree to meet at 8 o'clock. We get there at 6:45. The place is run rampant with mosquitoes. You could see them buzzing around everywhere. We had no mosquito repellent. I got no less than 200 mosquito bites from the time we got there at 6:30 till 1 o'clock in the morning. I'd say I got 200 mosquito bites. What that's worth, plus it was 85 or 90 degrees in that district where all the containers were heated up all day. There were containers stacked 8 high, and we were in between all these containers, we were in a valley of containers. It was 85 or 90 degrees, 100% humidity because of all the sewage puddles on the ground, and thousands and thousands of mosquitoes you could see floating around. There is no way on earth you could put a price tag on getting 200 mosquito bites when it wasn't necessary. Okay, so the truck is going to leave at 8 o'clock, and the driver gets there on time. Let me tell you something about the driver. I wasn't too sure about him when I met him, but I'm sure about him. He was a good guy. On my side, couldn't have been more helpful, couldn't have been a better man, couldn't have been a better driver, couldn't have worked harder to get my goods satiated where into my yard, and then he helped us unload the container, which he got paid handsomely for. Okay, well, we could get into that part of it too. Okay, so now the driver gets there at 8 o'clock, and we drive through a town called Opao, O-P-O-O or O-P-O-W or O-P-O-A. It's a 1-lane road. Don't make any mistake about it. 2 Corvettes could not pass each other on this road. So now we're in a 60-foot truck that's 9 feet wide, and we're going down this one block that was about, I guess it was 2 kilometers long. We did not encounter any head-on traffic, none, 0, not even a motorcycle that I remember. However, the street was only wide enough for this one truck, and on the street, with no exaggeration, there were several thousand people on the street on both sides, barbecuing, music playing. It was Daisy. Well, Daisy said it was called the squatters area. Okay. I think that's what it was. So literally there were thousands of people playing music, and the children, there were 2 and 3-year-old children playing. I have this on video now. You're going to see this. I have the video camera outside, and you're going to see 2 and 3-year-old children playing with a dog just 3 feet from where the truck is passing. And the parents aren't saying, get out of the road or anything. There's no haste to get the children out of the road. The children know to be out of the road. There are literally 2 and 3-year-old children playing all along the side of the road for 2 kilometers. And there is nobody getting upset that the truck is coming down the block. It was the most amazing thing. So then we went past a courtyard with music and basketball. I think they were playing. There were literally 1,000 people surrounding the basketball court as a form of entertainment in this squatters area. Nobody ran in front of the truck. There were no dogs running in front of the truck. The truck didn't have to stop. We went about 2 or 3 kilometers an hour through this squatters area. Took us about 45 minutes to go 2 kilometers. So now we get to the dock. And the dock, and all through the squatters area is this raw sewage bubbling out of the ground, and children are playing in the puddles. They are, make no bones about it, there are children playing in the raw sewage. I was astounded. I wish that I was a gazillionaire like Zabos or whatever that guy's name is, Bebos, who owns Amazon. I wish that I could do something, you know, philanthropic wise to get. I couldn't believe that there were children playing in raw sewage. They were. And you know what? When I was a kid, I played in raw sewage, but not because we were poor, but because there was a poor area called Hamilton Beach, or a squatters village, only just 300 yards from my side of the canal. Our side was wealthy. The other side of the canal was 40 or 50% the poorest type of family, you know, unit that could be. And all of their houses had the septic water go directly into the basement. What was once basement, where a pipe went through out to a septic tank, the septic tanks had long, 50 years ago, filled up, and they just broke the pipe off, and the basements that were about 4 feet deep just filled up with sewage. So the basements were 22 feet wide and 45 feet long, and filled up with sewage to the ground level at about 3 feet. Houses were a foot off the ground, 4-foot foundations with a sub basement where the pipes went, and the original air handlers and boilers. And then those were long gone, and all the houses had heating units in the house. And then the basements were filled up with sewage, and we played in that. And I'm still here, but I understand playing in septic water, and it didn't kill me, and I never got sick, and I never got an infection from it. But now that I'm older, and I was a septic tank contractor, and I know what kind of bacteria that exists, plus in Cebu, when we were kids, it was just septic water, fecal tissue, and urine. There were no chemicals. Now the chemical companies dump their chemicals directly into the water. These chemical companies that process plating and polishing, they dump nickel acid, cyanide solution, chromic acid, chlorine. They dump hydrochloric acid. They just dump this stuff right into the septic water in Cebu. And they do it in America too. There's my friend works in a septic treatment plant. They get chemical analysis of chromic acid, hydrochloric acid, chromic, sulfuric acid, sulfuric dioxide, all this weird ass chemical names, whatever weird ass. The plating and polishing companies dump their stuff straight into the sewage. And how do I know this? Because I worked for Vincent Coviello's father, who owned a plating and polishing repair equipment company, and we would take a 4 or 5 or 6,000 gallon plating and polishing tank that was rubberized, and we would open up the valve and we would run our 3-inch rubber hose over to a sink, a 4-inch floor drain, and we would put 4,000 gallons of chromic acid into the sewers. Back in the right after I got out of high school, I did this for about 3 months. We would just dump 3,000 or 4,000 gallons of chromic or sulfuric acid straight into the Gowanus Canal in Brooklyn, straight into it, just straight into. And then if we weren't working in Brooklyn, and if we were working in Manhattan, we would dump it into the sewers of Manhattan. Where it went, I don't know, probably and if we weren't working in Manhattan, we were working in Yonkers or New Jersey or Pennsylvania or Ohio. We used to do jobs all over the place. And if a tank broke, Mr. Coviello was brought in. We would realize there was a leak in the tank. The rubber section that was leaking had to be cut out, and we had to re-vulcanize the rubber onto the tank. There was no place to put the solution, so we just dumped it into the ground. And these companies still do that because there is absolutely no way for New York City treatment or any other treatment facility to know where the chemicals came from. So this is still going on. But where I played inside somebody's house, it was just fecal matter and urine. But where they do it in commercial in Cebu, this stuff is caustic. This stuff is poison. This stuff is what we call makahilo, poison in Cebu. This is not a joke. And these children are playing in that. So we went through 2 kilometers of Opal. We get to the dock, and there are more mosquitoes there than there were at the truck stop where we picked up the truck. So we're in the truck from about 9:20. The ship is supposed to come at 10. Well, we get a notification the ship's coming at 12. So now we have to wait in the truck or on the dock until 12 o'clock. So I try to fall asleep. I fell asleep for, I don't know, it was 2 or 3 minutes. That's in between. I would say I got 100 mosquito bites. Okay, so now I'm itchy, but I have the willpower not to scratch except one place on my leg where I made my leg bleed. Okay, 12 o'clock comes, and the driver takes a walk and comes back and says, there's a problem. I said, what's the problem? He goes, the ship isn't coming in till 3 a.m., but it's not going to leave until 7 a.m. Normally, I would lose my shit, but I've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning, and I've been aggravated since 8:30 a.m. when the driver didn't show up to bring me to the container. So all my aggravation has been spent, I thought. So I lose my shit for about 45 seconds. But I don't blame it on the driver because it's not his fault that the ship changed their schedule. I blame it on this guy, dang a bye LRA ship customs broker, because he told me the ship is leaving at 10 o'clock. Not it's going to get there at 10 o'clock. Another fucking lie. Another fucking lie. Mistake, lie, omission, fuck you, go there, wait. That's all. He has no respect for me whatsoever. And I'm going to show him in-kind respect. I'm going to make videos just about his business only. I'm going to tell people what he did that was good and what he did that was bad. I'm going to lay it right out on the line. He did this that worked, and he did this that didn't work. But in the end, I would never use this motherfucker again. Okay, so I resolved myself to the fact that the ship's coming at 3 a.m. and I'm going to be there till 7 o'clock in the morning, which means the trucker said the ship is going to arrive at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, which means I'm going to be up from 5:30 in the morning till 2 p.m. and another 2 hours back to Bohol. So I'm going to be up 36 hours, and then I'm going to have to start to unload the container after 36 hours. I resigned to the fact that I'm going to be up for 36 hours and I'm going to have to do this. I said to myself, not the trucker's fault, not the ship's fault. It's a buyer's fault for not knowing what the fucking schedule was. So at midnight, I said to the guy, or about 12:30, where is this fucking ship? Where he's going, it's coming at 3 a.m. And then with that, we hear the ship approaching the dock. And he goes, I think this is the ship, because they were pulling into the right slip. Got to remember something. Where I am is several acres of trucks, several acres of that raw sewage dust, several acres of raw sewage, and billions of mosquitoes. Billions. There were billions of them. There were billions of mosquitoes. When you looked at a light, you could see the mosquitoes just flying around like dust. The ship pulls in at 12:30. I'm in the truck. I am getting the shit beat out of me by these mosquitoes. Hello, Scott. Thank you for stopping by, my friend. Thank you. I'm telling them how I got royally screwed with the Pope's pipe. If you've seen my old videos, let's give Scott a little round. Every single person I did business with my container gave me a royal screwing, and they borrowed the Pope's pipe from the Vatican and jammed it in all the way butt end first. So that's to give you an idea what I went through. So now 12:30 comes, the ship is in, the door drops down to the door weighs about 20 tons. Okay, they drop it down, it hits the concrete. I said to the trucker, when can I go on the ship? He goes, now. So I get out, I said, Daisy, let's go, we're going on the ship. Because I know the ship is up 30 feet from the water level. Mosquitoes, in case any of you people out there don't understand how mosquitoes work, they do not fly higher than 15 feet. They won't fly higher than 10 feet unless perfect conditions arise. A mosquito will not fly 20 feet. So if you're on the second floor of a house at 15 feet, you might get mosquitoes. But if you're on the third floor of any building anywhere in the world, no mosquito will ever fly 21 feet high. Either it's not possible for them or they don't do it. I don't know. So if a mosquito comes into the third or fourth floor of a building, it's because the wind blew them into the building. But they will not fly that high on their own. There is nothing up that high for them. I guess it's their natural instinct to know where 10 feet is. They won't fly higher than 10 feet. Even in mangroves, if you're at the top of the mangrove bush, they won't fly higher than 10 feet. Unless you disturb the bush and they smell your breath, and then they'll come after the carbon dioxide. But they won't fly normally. So we go onto the ship and there's no mosquitoes, but it's hot. The engines are running slow ahead, both engines. And I got a beautiful video of the engine room on this. It's going to be loaded to YouTube. Both engines, the generator package, the bilge pump, the electric bilge pump, and the generator. So I got a beautiful footage of both. I think there was a mechanical bilge pump also, but I got the electric bilge pump. I don't remember the motorized bilge pump in the video. So we get on the ship, and the ship smells like ta'i, fecal matter. Why? Because the heat from the motors, and there's two motors. I don't know what the designation of the motor. I'm going to have to find that out. The engine room was so loud, I couldn't talk to the engineer. And I didn't ask to go down into the engine room because I had already talked to the captain, total gentleman. We had long conversations. I had already talked to the first mate, who would have been the chef and the ship's accommodations officer. They were all congenial, letting me make videos wherever I wanted in the pilot house. And when I went into the engine room, I happened to be in the galley, going to the galley to get fresh water. Because in the bathrooms, they pump up only salt water, no toilet paper, no toilet seat, just salt water. You wipe your boot with, you just pour water on your low boot. Okay, so I go into the galley, I go into the engine room. I got a nice video of that. But the bathrooms were next to, the one bathroom is next to the exhaust for the motors. And that exhaust is 140 degrees minimum, 150, 160 degrees maximum. And that's next to the bathroom, which is next to the storage tank for the bathroom fecal matter. So the whole ship smelled like ta'i, fecal. with the whole back of the ship when the ship was underway. It was an amazing smell. It was like sitting in a cesspool. So if you wanted to have food, you could go to the front of the ship and eat your food. Or after 15 or 20 minutes, you get used to the smell. The smell is just now coming out of my lungs. It's one of those smells that stay in your lungs. Well, it's in my lungs 20 hours now. Okay, so we get on the ship. It's hot. It's noisy. God, the motors were so loud. And we get to the port, and we have a 2-hour ride back, 2 hours ride back to my house. The driver knocks down the electrical cables, which I still have to pay for. The other truck was there. We unloaded the container in place onto the perch I made for it. That worked out perfect. It's getting better, but we're not done yet. So all morning I called up the barangay captain, who also has about 200 men working for him in construction, and who's a friend of mine. And I said, I'm going to need men from you. About a week ago, I stopped by his house. I'm personal friends with the guy. And I said, I'm going to need some men. He said, yeah, no problem. Just let me know when. I'll give them to you within an hour. So I said, he goes, how many? I said, 5 guys, 3 hours. He goes, no problem. Just let me know when. So I called him up all morning, but he was busy. Maybe at a meeting. Who knows? The guy never stops. He doesn't stop. He doesn't sleep. He works all the time. He's got 200 men working for him. He's setting up jobs, 100-room hotels, stuff like that. Plus, he's the barangay captain. He don't answer his phone, but the trucks are there, and I'm ready to unload the goods. So I said to the locals, I need some men to work. So one entrepreneur, young man, comes over and says, I'll get you 5 men for a commission of 150 pesos, which is like $3. I said, go get him. And he runs down the block. He literally runs down the block, comes back with 7 men. I said, I'll pay the men 500 pesos or $10 for 3 hours work, which is double their salary. And they're going to make a day's pay in 3 hours. So they make 50 pesos an hour. So for 10 hours, they're going to make 500 pesos. I'm going to pay them 500 pesos for 3 hours. That's what it's going to take 5 men to unload the truck. I know that for a fact because it took 7 men 6 hours to load it, and we had to carry the stuff 135 feet to the truck. So I know I can unload it into a container that's backed up door to door. I know I can unload it in 3 hours. And it happened in 3 hours. I am a contractor. I know time schedules. So he brings me 7 men. And one guy takes control. He's the biggest guy, and he's big. Make no bones about it. He's 5'11", 230, 220 pounds, and no fat, and arms the size of Arnold Schwarzenegger. But I didn't know he was drunk. So I said, so who's in charge here? And he raises his hand. He spoke English. I said, so I'm going to tell you what to do, and you're going to do it. And he just looks at me with a blank stare in his face. I said, do you understand? I'm the amo. I'm the boss. Okay, he understood that. I said, so you do what I tell you to do. Everybody in the yard, they were standing next to outside. Everybody go in the yard and wait for me. He goes, wait. He goes, we have to talk about the price. I said, the price is 500 pesos for five men for 3 hours. No. He says, no. He tells me no. I'm thinking to myself, fuck, who are you to tell me no? I'm the boss here. I'm 100% clear on this. I'm the boss here. Why? Because these are 5 guys that are not in construction. He grabbed 5 guys off the street that want to work and make 500 pesos. He grabs 5 guys off the street that don't know a damn thing about construction or listening to orders. But I need bodies with arms and legs. I don't need workers. So I said, what about the cost? He goes, 7 men, 600 pesos, 3 hours. That's 200 pesos an hour. That's 4 times their wages, plus the 150 pesos commission. Get the fuck off the job. Get the fuck off. Everybody go away. Go home. I'll do it myself, or I'll just wait for the barangay captain to send me men. Everybody get the fuck out of here. And I walk away. I got the truck backing up door to door to my container. Everybody get the fuck out of here. They're standing there staring at me. I'm going, what are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here. We're done. No 600 pesos, no 7 men, no trabajo. Go away. Go home. No work. No work today. So I walk away. I'm backing up the truck. They think that I'm kidding because I don't have anybody to unload the truck. It's just me and Daisy May. They think I'm kidding. Are they? They have to be fucking delusional to think I'm kidding. When I fire somebody, they're gone. It's fucking done deal. We don't negotiate who's the boss on my job. I'm the boss on my job. Especially when I'm hiring men that are not qualified to do the job I'm hiring them, and I have to lead those men every step of the way. Each item has to be itemized, where it's to go, how it's to be placed. Don't drop and they're going to dictate. I wanted 5 men for 3 hours, 500 pesos. Now they're dictating terms. You have to take 7 men at 600 pesos. The conversation is over. Get the fuck off the job. Leave now. Daisy, did I tell those guys when they said 7 men, 600 pesos, did I tell them or did I not tell them fucking 5 men, 500 pesos or get the fuck off the job?
Yeah, you said that.
100%. Okay. 100 fucking percent. I told them just like that. Not in any uncertain terms. Get the fuck off the job. So I walk away. I'm backing up the truck. And with that, the negotiator comes over and talks to me. The big guy comes over and talks to me and says, okay, 5 men, 600 pesos. Get the fuck out of here. We're not paying 600 pesos. I'm paying 500 pesos for 5 men. Or I'll give 7 men 400 pesos. Okay? So it's 5 men, 500 pesos, 2,500 pesos, or 7 men, 400 pesos or 2,800 pesos. No. Okay. No. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get off. Go away. Go home. I'm backing up the truck, and now the negotiator stands behind me, and he's going like this, backing up the truck. And the truck is in the wrong position. The truck is in a position, if it keeps coming back, it's going to smash the awning down on the building next door. Make no bones about it. It's going to take the entire awning with the metal roof and the lattice and the gate. It's going to take it out. It's going to be gone. And I turn around because the truck driver's not listening to me. He sees this guy that's behind me near the next building telling him to come back as if that's okay. So I run up to, I turn around, I see the guy behind me. I run up to the cab of the truck. Stop. You only listen to me. You only watch my hands. Nobody else is involved here. You understand? And I said, that guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's going to walk you into the building. You're going to take out the awning and the gate and the roof. You're going to take it all out. The container's 12 feet high. It's all going to be gone. And the fire escape, all is going to disappear. You listen to me. He goes, okay. With that, I run to the back of where the guy is. I said, go home. Get out of here. He don't leave. He's still standing there like this. Like he didn't hear me. I walk up, I get in his face, I smell alcohol. I said, you're drunk. You're a bug. Get out of here. He doesn't want to leave. He's not going to leave. He thinks he's got a job. He's drunk. I didn't realize he was drunk because I was in a hurry to get the truck. I'm backing up the truck. I got the other truck leaving. I'm making sure he gets under the wires by my house, okay? I got a man on wire detail that's going to go down the block with him. I set up a man, one man on wire detail. He's the guy I ended up keeping out of the five guys. And he's on wire detail to get the truck down the block. And I got this other truck driver backing in. I want to go door to door, container to container. And this guy's drunk. I'm going, you're drunk. Get out of here. You're habug. Get the fuck out of here. He will not leave. So now he walks away to where the other three men are. One man is on wire detail. There are three more men. Actually, there's five more men because they brought 7 men. And I said to you guys, what are you doing? We will work. We will work. I said, I don't want anybody. I don't want anybody here. Go home. Go home. And now I still don't have anybody except the guy on wire detail now, because at this point I took one guy, put him on wire detail, and I got Daisy and me, and I didn't know the truck driver would get out of the truck and help me, which he did. Okay, so now I got this guy on detail who gets him down the block, and they got the guy who's drunk standing in front of the other 5 guys telling me we will work. I'm going, no, you're drunk. You're the one who's in charge here, and you're drunk here. Just leave. So they all walk away, all of them. I might have kept 2 guys because I think I could control two idiots, and the guy on wire detail seemed pretty smart. Just from 30 seconds of observation, and I was right. I'd hire him tomorrow to work on the rest of the hotel with me. That's how smart he was. Okay, because he wasn't part of their crew. He was a hobble driver, and the guy, just from talking to him for 30 seconds, I says, him I could work with. Two idiots I was going to take because I can manage 2 idiots. I can't manage 5 idiots. I can't be in 5 places at once. Plus, I'm not sleeping now 36 plus hours. Okay, so they leave. All of them leave. So I'm stuck with just me and Daisy and the wire detail guy. I get the truck driver. I stopped the truck driver before, if you remember the conversation. I locked him up where he was. I tell him to pull up, move the truck over 2 meters to the left. It was 2 meters off, and the guy was backing him into the awning and the fire escape. Would have done 200,000-300,000 pesos in damage, no problem, in 3 seconds. So I backed the truck up door to door to the container. No problem. It's just a realization. I'm Superman when it comes to knowledge in construction and backing people up. I never miss. Nothing has ever been backed into since I've been born, backing up cargo containers or trailers or boats, nothing. Get the container backed up. The wire guy comes back, and the driver says to me, what are we doing? I said, well, I'm going to have to unload this container by myself. He goes, I'll help. I said, good, I'll take care of you at the end of the day. And I did. I paid him at least twice his salary in a tip for helping me for 3 hours. And not only helping me, but running one man in the yard. So he had the responsibility of one man because he spoke English. The man didn't speak English, but the man was a construction worker. So I would tell him where to put the items. The man would put the items there, and he would tell the man. So that left me with 4 men and Daisy. Daisy put the stuff that went into the house in the house. I put the stuff in the container, and I said, the container is 1. The yard is 2. The storage unit is 3, and my original container is 4. So I would tell them, put this at number 1. This goes to number 2. This goes to number 3. Or I would just, if he wasn't there, I would say, to the back of the yard, to the tool shed, to the container, to the other container. So, and in 3 hours, we were done. The contractor said give them 300 pesos each, 100 pesos an hour, which is double their salary. I gave them 350 pesos each. The driver, I doubled his salary for the day. I gave him 1,100 pesos. Okay. Now I gave him 1,300, but then I get a phone call that he knocked the wire down and that they wanted us to pay for it. So I took 200 pesos off of his tip. I gave him 1,300. So I took 200. I think it's going to cost 1,000 pesos to fix the wire or less. Don't know yet. I'll eat it. I'll eat it because everything else got done and because he helped me. Had he not helped me, I would have held back. I would have gave him nothing because he would have just been paying for the wire when I found out that the wire was broke. I didn't find out the wire was broke till actually he was leaving. I got a phone call when he was leaving. No one knew the wire fell down until for 3 hours later, apparently. But anyway, I got a phone call from the barangay captain saying I owe him the money for the wire, and I said, okay. So I'm going to have a glass of water here. Okay, Scott, I'm sorry I didn't pay attention to your... You had to repair the borders. Thank you, Scott. You habug, my boy. You habug is a ungoy. Oh, he was drunk, man. I got to tell you, there was no way I knew that how drunk he was until I kept telling him to stop with his hands. No more. Humana, wala, yamu. Stop the Lee. And he kept going like this. He just kept going like this. He just wouldn't stop. That's how drunk he was. He couldn't follow a simple cease and desist order. Yeah, the reduction in the stress is much. But I still have 2 12-hour days to sort the stuff that I left outside the container. Now, had I not been there, they would have worked until 6 o'clock at night. They would have worked 5 hours. Let's just say I told them to unload the container. Nothing would have went where it was supposed to. By the way, the wire guy, his name was Julius, I think his name was. I could never understand his broken English. He understood English perfect, but he couldn't speak it worth a shit. Julius was the kind of guy that could think on his feet, and when I told him to put the stuff in a container, I would say, this is simple. Not that things were antiques, but I would say, this is an antique. I don't want it broke. Put it to the left side. And he would put the antique there, and then he would put padding on top of the antique for the next piece that was going to go on top. I didn't have to tell him to do that. He knew to do it. So he was worth his weight in gold. And he got paid 600 pesos for 3 hours, or 200 pesos an hour. And he did not get paid 200 pesos an hour because he stayed for 3 hours. He got paid 200 pesos an hour because he told those other 5 guys that wanted him to leave, fuck you, I need to work, I'm staying. He got paid because he wanted to work. As it turned out, he was a good worker. So he got paid double what I paid everybody else. He got paid 600. Everybody else got paid 350. He got paid that extra 250 pesos because he didn't go along with the guy that was drunk that said, let's go. He said, fuck you, I need to work. I want to work. Not only that, he was a good worker. So he got paid 600 pesos. He's a motorcycle driver. He's not a construction worker, but he follows orders to the T, understands English, and busted his ass to not do any damage to my stuff. So he got paid double. And everybody knew he got paid double. And I said, he's getting paid 600 because he told everybody else to go fuck themselves. And they all knew the story. By the time they would finish working, the story went around that I fired all those other guys. And I don't give a fuck. Either I'm the boss or you're the boss. If I'm the fucking boss, you do what I fucking tell you to do. It's not optional. This isn't a fucking this isn't a democracy. This is a fucking dictatorship. I'm not in fucking business 38 years to lose money from some asshole telling somebody to back a truck into a building. He was gonna back the truck into the fire escape, the awning, and the gate system of the building. It would have cost $4,000 to repair that damage. Easy. Could have cost 500,000 pesos. If I didn't catch it, if it would have just, the driver would have went back too quick, it would have moved past the gate system and started crushing the awning like an accordion. This fucking guy needs to go. You people need to do what the boss tells you to do, then the boss eats the problems. I don't care how bad you need the money. I never gave a fuck how bad my men needed the money. They either do what I tell them to do or they need a new job. There's not even a discussion about this. The discussion takes place before I hire them. I explain to them, you need to do exactly what I tell you to do. We're not going to argue about it. If you have an idea and I'll listen to the idea. And if I say, forget that, you need to just stop the idea right there and do what I tell you to do. I won't argue about your thoughts on my job. I'll listen to your idea and I'll know right away if it's a good idea or not. And it will work or it won't work. We're doing it my way. Basically what I'm telling you, it's my way or the highway. I don't give a fuck how bad people need jobs. I don't give a fuck how bad their wife needs to buy formula for their kids. You want to buy formula for your kids, you do what I tell you to fucking do. It's just that simple. Mr. Willis says, being drunk is not good. It's a liability. And when some Filipino men are drunk, it could get ugly. I'm ready. I don't give a fuck. When I found out this guy was drunk, the conversation was over. Everybody goes. I was even going to take 200 pesos out of my pocket to get them to fucking walk down the block. But they ended up walking down the block in unison. I don't give a fuck about people's needs. I have needs. I need to get my job done. Thanks for the intelligent statement, Mr. Willis. Yeah, Scott, it was 100 degrees on the ship. It was 80% humidity on the ship, and it was perfect environment for all the fecal tissue in the ship's holding tanks to waft through the ship. It was beautiful. We had the same day yesterday. All right. Scott says, pretty sure the guy paying money is the boss. The guy putting it in his pocket is the worker. Not much sense otherwise. Now, let me tell you about the barangay captain, who's my friend for 6 years. And friend, when I say friend, we can have dinner at his house. It's not a problem. Okay, let me tell you about the barangay captain. He walks onto a job and everybody stands at attention. There's no conversation. He tells the foreman, if they're not standing at attention waiting for orders from the foreman, they're busy. If they're in the process of doing something, they never stop to look at the barangay captain, who's the boss. They don't stop to listen to the barangay captain or the boss talk to the foreman. They don't stop doing what they're doing. They continue working. The foreman gets his orders and tells the men what to do, and they do that, or they continue to do what they're doing, and when they're finished, they do. Nobody, he's got 200 men working for them. Nobody on the job talks to the boss. Nobody. There's no conversation between the boss and the men. There is conversation for the locals that he's known since he was born after the job, on the weekends, on Sunday. You will see him conversing with some people. And like I said, myself and him have been good friends. He's the boss. He's not my boss, but he's the boss. That's what a boss is. It's what Scott Del Fuego said. The boss is the boss. On my job, there's no conversation as to who is in control. You listen to what I tell you to do because I know how I want it done. I know which way works and I know which is the safest way. If it's dangerous, I'll take my best men and tell them you have to watch out for this, this, and this. This is dangerous. And they'll do it because they're my best men. But I'm not going to lead 5 clowns off the street with no construction experience when the guy who's leading them is drunk. It's just not going to happen. I don't care how much they need money. And I don't converse with the men. I tell the men what to do. I don't talk to the men about what I think I want them to do. If one guy walks up to me and says, I think it might work like this because he's in the business, I'll listen to him and I'll say, no, I'm going to do it my way. Oh, okay, let's try that. And if it didn't work, then we'll all see it didn't work. But I don't let him dictate how it's done. If I tell people what to do and I come and they're doing it differently, they're fired. It's over. You didn't listen to my order. Whether your way worked or not, you're fired. Okay, it's not a conversation. All right, so Carl Veller is back. John Escape is back. He's a long-term super chat provider. Thank you for stopping by. I saw you made comments earlier. Warren is back. Big super chat provider. Thank you, Warren. Warren H. Bigger than you might know. Thank you. Carl Veller is back. Another the strongest super chat provider ever. Carl Veller, thank you. We'll leave it at that. Okay, John Escape, getting close to fight time, Manny Pacman. Now, John Escape is talking about something I would not know about, and this is the first I hear about it. I don't watch sports ever. I don't watch football, never watched a football game never turned on a football game and watched it. I've watched parts of one at somebody else's house. Never watched a basketball game. Never have I ever watched a basketball game. I have never, ever turned on wrestling, WW wrestling. And I have watched golf because I think that's one of the hardest sports in the world. You got to go a mile in 3 shots and get the ball in a cup, and that's possible. That's hard. I'll watch that. That's pure concentration and expertise. I will watch golf. Tennis, I tried to play tennis when I was in my prime, and I was in top physical condition, and I wasn't even close to being in condition to play tennis. I'll watch tennis. That's effort-wise, it's 10 times harder than golf. Expending energy, it's just almost as hard as wrestling for 9 minutes. Not as hard, but almost as hard, and it's hours long. So I'll watch tennis because it's one of the hardest sports possible, and I'll watch golf because it's the most intensive concentration, hand-eye coordination sport next to tennis. I will not watch football. I don't watch boxing. I could care less about boxing. So John Escape has made it known that Manny Pacquiao is fighting. And thank you for making that possible for my friends out there. And I don't care about that, but you do, and I'm glad that you do because that's important to you, but not to me. Okay, take care or be well, Mike and Daisy. I'm glad I got to say hello to you, John Escape. Mr. Willis, that's good. You let them go. Best move in business sense. Better to cut them off than lose something more. Yeah, and I don't know these guys. I don't know them. I don't know that one of them isn't going to walk off the one container and take that 18-inch leap to the other container and bang their head and be dead. All right, so thanks, Mr. Willis. My job is different due to the injection of human psychology. But still, if I want a discussion, I ask for a discussion. Scott's saying he's the boss, but there are limitations to what he can control. But if he wants a discussion, he'll let them know. So basically, he's telling them he'll let them know if there's something to discuss. Carl Vella. Yes, Carl Vella. Carl Vella, making lemons from lemonades. That's my friend Carl Vella's favorite expression. When life deals you lemons, make lemonade. Carl, there's not a lot of people that could have went through what I went through just yesterday, let alone all the other problems. But thank you very much for making lemonade from my lemons, my friend, and thank you for your assistance in this matter. Carl Vella, making lemonade from lemons. I'll never forget the first time he told me that. It was probably in the year 2000, somewhere around the year 2002 or 3. Carl came to visit me in Key Largo, and he just said, we went boating. That's where we learned about sea tow and how it works. And Carl Vella said, well, when life deals you lemons, make lemonade. And I try, but I'm not so good at making lemonade. Thank you, Carl. Scott Del Fuego, if I give a directive, do it. If I give an order, do it exactly and now. Okay, so a directive means get something done, but an order means it needs to be done immediately. Okay, I understand that, and I agree. But in the case of yesterday's moving stuff from point A to point B, I guess those were all orders. But let me tell you how it went with the contractor or the barangay's captain, 5 men, and the driver. There's 3 hours of video. Well, there's 2 hours of video. The battery went off for a while. Never will you see me get upset, raise my voice, or talk even in a derogatory manner. In 3 hours, moving several thousand pieces out of the container and directing them to 4 different places: container, yard, deck, or other container. In 3 hours, never did I raise my voice or have to raise my voice. There was nothing to get upset about because these guys were men. And they knew from working with the barangay captain or the contractor that the boss is the boss. There's no hedging about it. So we got all this done. I never broke a sweat. In fact, I tweaked my leg about a week ago. I had to sit down on a box and direct them from a box until the aspirin kicked in and my leg felt where I could walk again. I actually literally could not even take a step. One step was too much. I don't know what I did to my knee, my left knee, but 2 aspirins takes care of the problem. I had to wait for that to kick in. And I just sat in a box and told them that goes over there, that goes over there. Every single person did everything I asked for 3 hours. It was a pleasure. So we're going to do this live stream, and then I might do another one because it's that famous time. It's 10 o'clock where I might do some crazy live stream. Okay, Shane. Mike. Mike. I guess that means okay. Hello, hope everything is good, bro. The Traveling Monkey. Heard that name before, but don't really know you. Philip Aboud. Philip, greetings from Lighthouse Point, Florida. Welcome to the machine. You 2 gentlemen, Shane Kaufman, the Traveling Monkey, and Philip Aboud. Welcome to the machine. Shane Kaufman's making a joke. I seem to be good at making lemonade. You can thank Carl Vella for my lemonade expertise. Mike Chisel, happy to hear you got my container. Let's talk about Cebu. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody. There are a lot of people that listen to my commentaries and know what I've been going through. Let me tell you something about 2 men I met at. Let me tell you that the people that listen to this commentary, the filthiest part of Cebu is between the S&M Mall and the Robinsons Mall. That's where I spent, that's where we had dinner. I had lunch, I had breakfast there. That's where we had our snacks. That's where we went in between hotels for relaxation, the S&M Mall and the Robinsons Mall. I met two guys in the Robinsons Mall. Okay, so one guy I met walked up to me and said, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" and shook my hand. He goes, "I've been watching your videos for 5 years." He goes, "You are a trip. I love your videos. Keep up the good work." He told me his name, and I forgot his name. I apologize to that man who's going to watch my live stream. I do apologize. But the second man told me a horror story about the Philippines. His name was Christopher. So I'm standing. All right. So what I did was I bought snacks. Now, Nacy and I normally don't eat snacks. And snacks are potato chips and junk food. We bought junk food. Daisy loves junk food, and I enjoy it more than her, but I limit the amount of junk food. I think we eat about 1.5 ounces of junk food every 2 or 3 days. But I went shopping, and I said to Daisy, "What do you want? You want junk food or do you want food?" And she says, "I want some snacks." They call it snacks. So I went down to the supermarket and I looked at the prices, which you're going to see me. I did some pricing, what cost of living in the Philippines. They rape you for food at S&M and Robinson's Mall. Let me see if there are any more good comments. Mike says, "Happy." Carl, good for you, Carl. Nothing I admire more than a loyal friend. Carl has helped me through this whole thing more than anybody will ever know. Just an old truck driver trying to keep the revenue collectors. Okay, the traveling monkey. Just an old truck driver trying to keep the revenue collectors off my back. A working man, a blue-collar man. Thank you for stopping by. Okay, Mr. Willis knows about Cebu. That's right. He's right. That's the North Reclamation Area in Cebu. That's where the shipping docks are. It's the filthiest place I've ever been. Thank you for that information, Mr. Willis. Chips are kryptonite. Jay's with Dean's French onion dip. Okay, so Lay's, probably Lay's. All right, so that's right. The chips are the best junk food in the world with Lay's onion dip. So I go down and I buy 6 snacks. No food, just 6 snacks. And a gallon of distilled water. And I come back up, and Daisy and I had a snack. But when I came up, I noticed a sale at one of these stores. Holy shit. My surprise in the Robinsons Mall. I'm going to do a video just on this, but my surprise was I was beside myself when I went into. Normally, when Daisy and I go to the Cebu, or anywhere we go, first thing we buy are about 2 kilos of fruit and vegetables. And that's what we sustain, and maybe 5 snacks. I went into the Robinsons Mall, and my intention was to buy snacks only, but I said, let's get some apples. I couldn't believe the price of apples. Apples were 84 pesos. That's $1.70. $1.70 for an apple this big. $1.70 for a 2.5-inch apple. That's almost $2 an apple. That's 3 hours' wages for a construction worker in the Philippines. And I don't even know if, I'm sure they were, I guess they were good. I didn't buy any. I'm not paying $1.70 for an apple. And they were in units of 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So 3 apples were 185 pesos, or 195 pesos, 200 pesos, depending if they were a little bit bigger. I'm just not paying I'm not paying $1.85 for an apple. Call me cheap, but I save money where I can. So I passed on the apples. So that was the cheap apples. There were apples that were green apples. They were They were 130 pesos, or $2.60 for an apple. Now, I said, you know what? I won't buy apples, but I'll buy another kind of fruit. So I went over to the bell peppers. I like bell peppers. Bell peppers were $2 for a bell pepper about 2.5 inches in diameter. So I could eat about 4 of those. I'm not buying those either. So call me cheap, call me Tahik, which means cheap in Visaya, but I'm just not gonna spend $2 for an apple, or $2 for a bell pepper and $3 for an apple. I'm just not going to spend that money. So I bought some junk food and water, and I also had 6 pieces of fried chicken that I had bought at a chicken stand. So, and they were 15 pesos each. So I had food, and we had 8 boiled eggs. So I don't need food. I have 8 boiled eggs, 6 pieces of chicken, and then we had snacks. So we go upstairs, and I'm having a snack. And with that, I walk past the store for a Honda generator. Now, I already talked about the food prices in Robinson's. They were the same in S&M, same prices. They must have walked across the street and said, S&M's charging $3 for an apple. We have to charge $3 for an apple. Okay, Mike Chisel says, absolutely. I usually go to a local market. S&M, yeah, but there were no local markets in what that man called the North Reclamation area. There are no local markets. So I was stuck with their prices. So I see this store. It's like a hardware store. Warren H. says, I paid $2.20 for a small apple. They were bitter and flowery, which, yeah, okay. Oranges, $1.99 each. Oranges were $2 plus per orange. I forgot about the oranges. And they are dry and tasteless. Don't worry about the cost of the item if it's good. But I don't know if they're good. I'm just not going to experiment. I could have experimented with one, but I'm just, all right, so say Daisy and I want 4 apples. That's $8. That's ridiculous. We're going to eat. The last time we went to a market and we picked up bundles of apples in 6. We picked up 2 bundles, and they were 130 pesos. It was 190 pesos for 6 apples. So they were 30 pesos an apple. That's acceptable. That's acceptable. But 190 pesos, 100 pesos, 130 pesos for an apple, that's not acceptable. Okay, so I go past this hardware store and I read a price tag on a Honda generator. Now listen to the word, Honda generator. It's not a fucking Yamaha. It's not a Honda. It's a Briggs and Stratton. Not a Honda. It's not a Yamaha. It's a Briggs and Stratton. It's a piece of shit. The motor is a piece of shit. Briggs and Stratton motors, the first time you buy them, they start. If you run it every day, you have no problems. If you run it once a week, you have no problems. Put it in storage for 2 months and try to start that motor. Good luck with that. You're going to take the carburetor off. You're going to take the shroud, the carburetor, the air filter. Briggs and Stratton motors are fucking garbage. Plain and fucking simple garbage. But about 15 years ago, there was a sale on Honda generators. They were about the size of a milk crate, and they were about $250. Okay, that's 12,500 pesos. So I'm thinking a Honda generator has the best motor on earth. Honda motors, I don't care how long you put them in storage. When you pull it twice, it starts up. Doesn't matter. I had a Honda pressure washer from 1981 to 2013. That's 1991. That's 2001, 2013. 32 years. No, 1987, excuse me. 97, 107, 100. That's 24 years. I used that Honda power washer for 24 years. And in the winter, I didn't use it at all. So I didn't use it for 6 months, and I never pulled it more than 3 times to start it. And that was an 8.5 horsepower Honda power washer. Okay, so I go past this Briggs and Stratton generator. This is in the Robinson Mall. You want to know how they fuck you? Let me tell you, they fuck you dry and hard. Robinson's Mall. Fucking outrageous prices. And then you get these stupid fucking answers from the cashier, which I'll get to in a minute, telling you, but sir, it was 58,000 pesos. Well, I don't give a fuck. You could have put 30 million pesos on, take 99.9% off. It's still too much. So I walk past the generator and I look at it and it says 40% off. And I look at it, it says 5,800 pesos. Fuck, that's not a bad price, 5,800 pesos. Fucking 5,000. And I said to the guy, there's a guy standing there selling them. I said, this generator is 5,800 pesos? Yes, sir. Now I'm looking at the middle generator, the middle one. It's straight. There's one in the box on the bottom, there's one in the middle, and there's one on top. The middle one is eye level, a little bit lower than eye level. So I look at it, it says 5,820 pesos, or 25 pesos. I look at the fucking thing. I says, 40% off on this? He goes, yes, sir. I says, so 5,825 pesos? Yes, sir. So that's like 3,200 pesos. Yes, sir. I says, I'll be back in a minute, because Daisy was waiting for me. I said, I'll be back in a minute. And I don't disappear on Daisy. She knows that I can take care of myself, and I'm in a mall, so there's nothing really to worry about. But I told her I'd be back in a minute. I just want to look at something. So I went back and told Daisy, I'm going to buy a generator. I'll be back. It'll take about a half an hour probably to get the generator to the counter, because they're not going to sell me the one on the shelf. So I get back to the generator and I'm looking at it, and Christopher, one of my YouTube subscribers, Christopher, says, hello, Mike, how you doing? Just walks up and shakes my hand. I said, okay, so he's a pretty good sized man. I said, do I have to fight you here right now? Really? Because this is a good place to fight, because we're gonna get ambulance service immediately. One of it, because he just looked like that type of guy. He just looked like that type of guy, and he starts laughing. Hey, Mercury 3, welcome to the machine. Mercury 3 is a great man. He's been an unbelievable friend to Warren H. and a friend to everybody on here. Please say hello to Mercury 3. He's he worked for the police department in Michigan. A nice man. Thank you for stopping by. Welcome to the machine, Mercury. So I said to this man, do we have to fight? You're welcome, Mercury. And he goes, no. I've been a subscriber of yours for many years. I love your videos. I said, okay. He goes, what are you doing? I said, I'm looking at this generator. It's only 3,000 pesos. He goes, that's a good price. I said, no, I'm going to buy 2. He goes, why? I said, no, I'm only going to buy 1, but I'm going to buy 1 now before they run out. At 3,000 pesos, they got to run out of these things soon. So he goes, okay. So I said, well, who are you? So he tells me who he is. He's a man who has been very generous to the Philippines community, more than anybody else I ever met. In fact, so generous, you might call him stupid. I wouldn't call him stupid. I would call him a philanthropist. But some people would say he was stupid. And now, after being a philanthropist in the Philippines, Christopher knows that what he did was stupid. Not several 100,000 pesos, 100,000 Australian dollars he invested into the Philippines and was stolen from him. 100,000 Australian dollars was absconded by the Philippines authorities. 100,000 Australian dollars. Now, I don't want to get Christopher in trouble, and if Christopher is here looking at this, he can tell the people his story, because it's secondhand to me. So it's only a story at this point. But he explained it to me. It's certainly a truth. So he also explained to me that what he does is he takes $200 worth of wood and turns it into a $2,000 product. So he's a master craftsman woodsmith. Okay, doesn't and he makes the wooden horses for carousels, and he makes wooden rocking chairs. And I'll leave it at that. I won't tell you the name of his channel because I don't remember it. But he was absconded by the Philippines community for $100,000. So now he does not do any philanthropic work in the Philippines. Philanthropical work, I think the word is philanthropical work. I'm not too familiar with that word and the pronunciation, but philanthropia. He set up an entire structure of teaching people how to do woodworking, set up the equipment, bought the equipment, paid for the shipping from Australia for the equipment, built the shop, and then was extorted out of the equipment. I won't tell you where, because the authorities would probably be pissed off if I'd have to have Christopher tell you this story. So, Warren and Mercury 3 are having their daily bantering back and forth. Mercury 3. Now, Warren, let me tell you something about Warren. Aside from Carvella assisting me through this disaster, Warren H. has assisted me in the same fashion as Carvella. Thank you, Warren. So I wanted to get that straightened out. Warren H. has assisted me through this whole thing. Warren H. and I talk almost every 2 days. Just somebody to expose and express my thoughts has been an immense amount of release from my stress. And Scott Del Fuego also, and Carl Vella. 3 people I can talk to and explain this shit to, and they follow through. Thank you. Okay, so insult generator, Earth is almost flat. That I would agree. I would agree with that. Laura Segrest, good morning. Michael and friend Daisy, good morning. Just a slight curve. At best, a slight curve. And that's because of the mountain ranges. Earth is flat, ladies and gentlemen. It'll be proven one day. It'll go down in the annals of history as the greatest hoax on Earth. But in the meantime, insult generator, keep on posting because I agree with you 100%. And if you're a troll, I still agree with what you said. That's right. I agree with what you said. I don't care if you're trolling me, that you think people say that I'm crazy for my believing the Earth is flat. No one's ever proved it's round. No one ever proved it. No one ever will. It's not round. Ever hear the terminology sea level? Sea level means level. The sea is level. From one sea to the other, from one ocean, from one shore to the other, it's all level. Keep it up. Keep it flat, old man. Okay, so insult generator. Oh, he's an insult generator. There he goes, insulting me. Keep it flat, old man. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome to the machine. Okay, so you guys, I need to go over to the refrigerator. What I want to get is some cold water. This is warm, and this is distilled water. We are now making distilled water with my water distiller that came from America 2 weeks ago. And this liter of water is my second liter for the day, and it's only 10:30. Hold on a minute. You guys have a nice chat. Insult generator. That's a great name. If I didn't have Hoodwinked by an Angel, I think I might have qualified for the term insult generator. I think that's something. You're welcome. That is a great name. And I have that pain in my leg again. I can't believe I didn't twist my knee. What I did do, though, I'm going to tell you what I did do. I bought some 3x10s, which are 3.5 by 11 inches, 14 feet long to put the container on, and I put one of those bad boys on my shoulder. I centered myself on a 3x11 wet piece of coconut lumber, a wet piece. Had a way. I'm going to go on the light side. It weighed 150 pounds. I centered myself on the wood, and Daisy got on the end just to keep it steady. So in case once a piece of wood like that starts waving around, my legs won't take that kind of lateral movement. I just can't take that kind of a strain. I'm old. I'm 63. When I was young, I could hump those things 100 feet. When I was young, this is what I could do. All right. This is a simple test. You want to see how strong you are, how strong you are? This is a simple thing. When I was in my 20s and up to my early 40s, I could take a 4-foot oxygen bottle, whatever that weighs. I don't know what it weighs. I could Google it. Somebody else Google weight of a 4-foot oxygen cylinder. They never changed in 50 years. I could take a 4-foot oxygen cylinder, bend over, put it on my shoulder like this, right over my shoulder, walk it 150 feet from the street to the end of the dock, walk it down a 24-foot ramp, walk it up the ramp, walk across the floating dock with it, walk across the ramp from the floating dock to my barge, walk up the ramp or lateral across the ramp, walk across the barge to where the oxygen cylinder was stored, and tip it over into the cylinder storage framework. Okay, so I was walking it 175 feet off the truck, across the yard, across a level dock, down an angled ramp, across the floating dock where it went back and forth, up or down another ramp, and then across my barge. Okay, no problem. And then go get another one. Go get the acetylene tank because they're lighter than the oxygen. Why are they lighter? Well, the accompanying tank typically for a 4-foot tank is just as heavy, but they do 2 oxygen tanks to 1 acetylene. So I got the small acetylene tanks, which they were easier to carry. Now, I don't know how strong you think you are, all you tough guys out there. Just pick up an oxygen cylinder and walk at 200 feet on level ground, and let's see where you're at. Okay, but that's how strong I was. I can't do that anymore. But that board weighed 150 pounds, and I can't do that anymore either. So it took a while, but within a few days, my leg is hurting to where I'm going to stand up now, and I'm going to have trouble walking across the room. Yep. It's amazing that so many people think the earth is round. That's right. It's amazing. It's amazing that no one understands sea level. It's amazing how people can shoot a telescope. I mean, the war machine has a laser that shoots across the ocean at 93 miles and can sink a ship 93 miles away. And at that point, there'd be 3 miles of Earth curvature. So it's amazing how people are so fucking stupid that they don't understand that the U.S. Navy has a weapon that can shoot 93 miles and destroy another ship across the ocean. They think that a laser beam is going to curve to the Earth's curvature, which there is no such thing as Earth's curvature. It's amazing how many people are not ignorant, but just straight up and down fucking stupid that a laser beam is going to curve 3 miles and hit a ship 90 miles away. That's what's fucking amazing. Hold on a minute. I'm going to get 2 things. Hold on. Have a conversation with Insult Generator. That motherfucker can take over where I left off. So, one thing I want to tell all you people, I want to tell you all, in a few minutes, I'm just making myself a peanut butter, Skippy peanut butter, and Welch's grape jelly. We just got the Welch's grape jelly in yesterday. I'll show that to you in a minute. But in a few minutes, we're going to talk about a couple of the Philippines bloggers. And I'm serious about that. We're going to talk about the man I call the Philippines philosopher, who you all know by a multitude of names. And we're going to talk about Big Kevin, No Bull. We're going to talk about Big Kevin, No Bull, and the stuff he's got going on his great channel. And we're going to talk about Quinton Blue a little bit. So just hold on. I have some thoughts about what's been, while I was gone for 48 hours, the shit hit the fan in the Philippines blogging community. We're going to review the shit hitting the fan in the Philippines blogging community. Whether it was right or wrong will be up to the people that are now involved in this shitstorm. I just want to add my 2 cents. So I'll be back in a minute. Maybe 90 seconds. It should take me only 90 seconds to make this peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay, so we have a half a bottle of water here that's cold, and we have this 12 bottles of Smucker's, not Welch's, Smucker's grape jelly, which is the best, baby. Smucker's doesn't get any better than that. Welch's is good too, but Smucker's is the best. Now, being that I only used it once, I forgot the name of it. And I bought this, I bought 12 bottles of Smucker's grape jelly. I think I paid $8 a bottle for 48 ounces. So I didn't pay. I think I paid $4 a bottle. I have the bill somewhere. In America at the Canarsie Market, somebody's Farms was the name. They were going out of business. Now, the jelly wasn't on sale. It was just the last 2 cases that they had. Otherwise, I would have bought 3 cases of this or more. But I don't remember what I paid for 6 jars for $30. So it was like $5 a jar. It was a wholesale place. $5 a jar. We got 12 jars. All right. So hold on. I have another bottle of water. Let me get this cold water down. And then I'm 90 seconds away from finishing my Skippy's peanut butter. Now, I don't even know if $4.50 a jar was a good price for this, because no super, I don't know where the hell they sold them. Okay, so I'm going to put the jelly on first so it goes into the bread. Some people put the peanut butter on first and the jelly falls out of the peanut butter sandwich. But if you put the jelly on first and smear it into the bread, it doesn't fall out of the sandwich. Smuckers. Schmucks. All right, we're going jelly first. We're going jelly first. I'll show you how this is done in case you don't know jelly first. You put the jelly on the bread and you take a fork, not a spoon, a fork, because the fork breaks it up. And you push it into the porosity of the bread. How to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, baby. You push it into the porosity of the bread. This way, it doesn't. If you put the peanut butter on first, the jelly won't go into the bread, and the jelly is constantly falling out of the peanut butter sandwich. So it should look like this. Then we take the excess and put it on the other side. So you should have 2 pieces of bread that look like this. Now don't be a schmuckers and put the peanut butter on first, because you can't get this much jelly on, because when you put the sandwich together and you pick it up, the jelly falls out. This is how you make a proper peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now if you want to change anything, you could toast the bread, but that's all you can do. I add a little salt. All right, now we're going for the peanut butter. And the peanut butter is something also that's an art, okay? You put the peanut butter on like this with the fork. So you smashed it into the jelly. So now the peanut butter holds the jelly in place. You put the 2 pieces together like this. Pat it down, and you have to eat it while it's level. Because as soon as you make it off level, any little pieces of jelly are going to come out. Okay? That's how you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. No bakaku. That's how it's done. So let me put the jelly, and you store the jelly in the refrigerator. Don't store it outside the refrigerator. It will not go bad, but it won't stay good. And like I said, I put a little salt on the sandwich. I like salt on my peanut butter and jelly. It's kind of like putting salt on a bagel, okay? Or bread, toasted bread, same thing. Same thing, put bread on a toasted bagel, put salt on a bread sandwich. You put salt on just about anything. So let's just say I just made the perfect peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I'm going to say I just made the perfect peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I have a piece of fried chicken from a pretty good fried chicken place nearby me. And this is about the size of a piece of fried chicken that you get for 15 pesos from one place. And another place will have half of this size chicken, this size, for 15 pesos in the city. But here, you get 15 pesos, you get a piece about 4 fingers wide and 4 fingers high. Samuel says he does it differently. That's okay, Samuel. If you know what? Let me tell you something about. I told you how to make a proper peanut butter sandwich. It's only my opinion. It's only my opinion. Let me tell you the truth about this whole thing. The sad truth is, whether you put the jelly on the bread first or the peanut butter first, at some point in the beginning of the process, while you're eating the sandwich, you can see that there's a difference. The absolute truth is, 48 hours from now, when it comes out the other end, you're not going to be able to tell whether the peanut butter went on first or the jelly went on first. You won't even know if I put salt on or not. That's at the other end, on the Hershey's factory side. Oh, I left the light on. Hold on. All right, now let's talk about the Philippines philosopher, Quinton Blue. Roberto, I think it was Roberto, the brown American expat. Hold on, let me get this name straight. Excuse me. Roberto, yeah, okay. No, I can't play it. I could turn that on. He was in the chat window. I gotta shut this off. He was definitely in the chat window big time.
You know,
All right, hold on.
there's going to be some kind of excuse. He's going to get money, mind you, from his super chat, I believe.
Okay.
But
Roberto, okay, so we're gonna talk about Roberto, the brown American expat. Warren H was commenting on his comments. Quinton Balloon and the Philippines philosopher. Okay. Okay. I think everybody can agree. Now, this is a serious conversation. We're not going to fuck with anybody. I'm not being facetious. I'm not being an asshole towards anybody. And I'm not really taking anybody's side. That's problematic. Because on an issue like this, everybody's taking sides. I'm not going to take anybody's side on this. Okay. So Big Kevin, he put on a show. Now, you can voice your opinions. Insult generator just doesn't stop. He's got hundreds of insults. All right, we know where this is going. Distilled water will strip your Steve Thomas. Electrolytes. It's the losses in the distilled water. Okay, Steve O. Thomas. I've heard that story before. I've understand it. It's true. I believe it's true. I believe everything that you said about distilled water. However, since 1995, I have been drinking distilled water, and I've never been sick. Ever. Any cough or cold or flu, minimum flu for a couple of days once in a while. When I'm in where everybody's sick, I'll get it for 2 days. I won't get the runs. I won't get sick. I've had food poisoning 3 or 4 times since 1995. But since I started drinking distilled water, I've never been sick except for this open wound I have on my foot. And that's because of something they're putting in the water and in the food or in the food that the animals we eat. Okay? So I have been drinking distilled water. I have never taken a vitamin. I have vitamins. I bought some vitamins to New York. I might have taken a vitamin every day for 10 days, and I said, I don't feel any different. So, I only bought those vitamins to try to see if I felt any different. Now, being that I don't drink alcohol and I quit smoking cigarettes, I notice any small change in my body. I can eat a food that has poison in it and taste it in my nasal passage or feel my body tingling. Okay. Never been sick. So all the things that Steve Thomas said about distilled water are facts, but I've never been sick since 1995. So what is that? 105, 150, it's 24 years. Not one sickness. Okay? So it works for me. Now let's move on. Smuckers in the Philippines, amazing. Well, I don't think they have Smuckers jelly in the Philippines. And peanut butter? Oh God. Huh. We'll get on to the Philippines philosopher and Quinton Balloon in a minute. All right. Now this jar is about, I guess it's 3 weeks old, and Daisy likes peanut butter. So it's about half empty. All right. This is a Skippy peanut butter creamy. There's only 2 types of peanut butter. There's Skippy peanut butter creamy and Skippy peanut butter crunchy. There's only 2 types of peanut butter for me. That's a 40-ounce jar. And these I know for a fact $7 each for. Now, there were 28-ounce jars in the supermarket that was locally in Queens where I live, and they were $7.50. So not quite twice the price, but an additional cost for 28 ounces, $7.50. Let's just say $7 each. So I actually got, so 28 into 7 is 30 into 7. It's like, what is it? 28 times 30 cents. Yeah, it's like 25 cents an ounce. 30 times 25 would be, yeah, let's just say just 30 cents an ounce. Okay. For the 28-ounce jar, but maybe 25 cents an ounce for the 40-ounce jar. So there's only 2 types of peanut butter. Take your choice. Skippy creamy, Skippy crunchy. I brought in a lot of peanut butter. I brought in everything they had on the shelf, which was 3 of these big boys and 6 28-ounce ones from the store. And then there was no more Skippy. No, we did smuggle in some peanut butter. Insult generator. he gave us a reprieve. One of his 50 comments so far was not an insult. Thanks very much. Okay, so two compliments. Finger dexterity is amazing. All right. A real pro would get a woman to do it for him. My woman has worked with me side by side for the last 3 weeks. And except for last Sunday's live stream and the Sunday before that, I'm pretty sure we worked every day. So I don't know where she went. I hear her voice now. She's been gone about 2 hours. I have no idea where she went or what she did. She may have gone to the store, and she may just be visiting some friends. So, and if I asked Daisy to make me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or I said, Daisy, there's chicken. I like chicken livers. There's chicken liver in the refrigerator and some Chinese pitch eye. Would you please make me up a batch? She would just say, okay. And that's it. She will cook anything I ask her to do. So she is a real woman. She's just not here right now. Thank you, Laura Segrist. All right. So Daisy will make, like last night, we had fried chicken. We had 10 pieces of fried chicken. We had chicken liver, and we had fresh Chinese pitch eye that I bought Thursday morning before I went to Cebu. Wednesday afternoon before I went to Cebu. And Daisy said, I said, would you make us some chicken liver? And she said, yeah. And she did. Not, I don't feel like cooking, none of that shit. Does the bread make a real sandwich? All right. Well, insult generator, you just pissed off my friend Scott Del Fuego, who was a moderator on this channel. And I can do nothing about that. Okay, so thank you, Scott. I leave the moderation up to my moderators. Okay, so now we're going to go down a little bit. Yeah, this guy he was a little mucking up the channel a little bit with all that he was mucking up the. Yeah, you see, insult generator. If you're going to be a troll, be a good troll. Just troll a little bit. All right, so thank everybody. Everybody's in agreement with Scott. I'm going through the. John Escape says thanks for banning that guy. I noticed somebody else said ban that prick. Randall Law said ban that prick. Okay, so I'm only going through the comments now. Yes, well, Scott's in charge of it. Well, he didn't actually ban you for no reason. He said you said you were a cat kicker in Russia. Whatever that means, Scott didn't like it. And Scott's in charge of the moderator. Scott, George, Warren, Mercury, Jack Thompson. They're my moderators. They do what they want. And I never question their moderation. Randall says, I was just kidding. He does have some good points. I'm the only mod here. Okay, now, let's talk about 4 of the Philippines bloggers and the problems that they are causing amongst one another. And I am out of the loop here. I left Thursday morning to go to Cebu. Between Thursday morning and this morning, when I woke up, and I had to catch up with all these videos and live streams, which is a pain in the ass. But, all right, so Big Heaven, he has a channel. We could call it a drama channel, okay? He has a channel that thrives on drama. And the drama that he thrives on is Philippines drama between Philippines bloggers. Now, before we start, I'm going to say this. I might say it a few times, but before we start, I think it should be necessary to at least have factual evidence of what you're saying that you can either provide or make reference to, okay? Because there's a guy called the Philippines Philosopher that allows a commenter named Johnny Ward and another commenter whose name I forget to call Daisy May an underage prostitute. And he laughs about those comments, the Philippines Philosopher. Now, I could show those comments to you. I have screenshots of them, but I'm not going to. But I could show them to you, and I did show them to you in last week's live stream. So he believes it's okay to have Johnny Ward say things like Johnny Ward was in Korea and he met Daisy May when she was a teenage prostitute. The Philippines Philosopher, well, let me just show you that shit. I got it. I have the screenshots open. Let me just show it to you. Okay. Now, these are screenshots now. These are not. These are not words that I made up. So here is one right here. Let's see. So the Philippines Philosopher allows people he allows people to say things like this one here. Fazio's wife was a bar girl, a fact. Donald Carr. DonaldCarrFiles.com. Fazio's wife, bar girl, a fact. Hulk says Fazio's wife is not a good-looking girl. Nothing attractive about her. And then Donald Carr says something else about Fazio's wife. Now, this all occurs on the Philippines Philosopher's Channel. All right, we're going to go up. All right, there are things I don't want you to see on here. Okay, so here in this screenshot I have, my Philippines interest allowed, without taking the comments down and then laughing about the comments, he allowed Donald Carr allure. Donald Carr's files. Fazio wife was a bar girl. A fact again in a different place. Okay, he allowed that, and he laughed at that because I was listening to this live. Okay, so he allows those kind of comments on his channel. So why he allows those comments on his channel is because he doesn't have a moderator, or he just doesn't care that people are critiquing my girl Daisy May. Okay. Okay, so Donald Hulk. Okay, Fragile Handle is my girlfriend, Daisy May. DonaldCarrFiles.com. How did you know that Fazio's girl is a bar girl? Do you have proof? And Donald Carr says, Fragile Handle, no proof. I was stationed in Korea a few years ago, and I recognized her, but I have no proof. Sorry. Okay, and that is also on Philippines Interest 01. So he's in previously to that in the other statements, he called Daisy a bar girl and an underage prostitute, and those comments go by the Philippines philosopher yeah, but I will have some vegetables, thank you. They go by him, and he just laughs at them without saying a word. Like when the comment appears on the screen, he just laughs at them. So he thinks comments about my girlfriend, Daisy May, being an underage prostitute and a Korean bar girl, he thinks that's funny. Okay, now there's proof right there. I just showed that proof. And he's allowed to think whatever he wants. However, now, and I don't agree with it because there is no proof, plus she's never been those things that people say, so it doesn't really affect me that much. It might affect him one day, but it doesn't affect me. It might affect him because inside his head, he thinks this is all fun and games. But now, I see that Big Kevin, No Bull, is allowing people on his channel to say stuff that no one has any physical proof of. So the Philippines community is in a turmoil now because people are allowing other bloggers to talk about things where no one has proof of these things occurring. Okay, this is wrong. It's wrong that the Philippines philosopher allows people to make comments about my girlfriend being a bar girl and a prostitute in Korea. And it's, in my opinion, wrong that nobody checks the comments made on Big Kevin's channel. However, that's the way it is. So, right now, the video I watched this morning, the Philippines philosopher is going to sue the people on Big Kevin's channel for making up stories about his wife. Okay, so where that's going to end up, I don't know. But I'm just letting people know. I don't like it when it's done to me, and yet on the Philippines philosopher's channel, he allows comments like that to occur. And now there are people making up stories about his wife, and he doesn't like it. So I'm gone for 48 hours, and now there are going to be lawyers involved in this. Much expense is going to be expended on libel and slander. Now, would I go through that kind of trouble because someone said something about Daisy? Why would I? Why would I do something so stupid as to hire a lawyer for libel and slander? To me, that's just not something I would do. And the reason I wouldn't do it is because there's no truth in the statements, which is why I don't complain to the Philippines philosopher about these statements. He lets it happen. He laughs when he sees them. He doesn't take them down. He allows other people to comment on it besides those. There's hundreds of them I have documented. He allows people to do that, and he thinks it's okay to have people say stuff like that about my girlfriend. And personally, I think it's okay if he wants to allow it. But one day, and maybe, well, actually not one day it's going to cause a problem. Actually, it did cause a problem. Because not with me, but now, because he allows stuff like that on his channel, other people are allowing things like that on their channel. And they're saying stuff that people are just pissed off about. You can't have it both ways. You just can't have it both ways. You can't allow somebody friend on your channel with no proof and then be upset that somebody's talking about your wife with no proof. You can't. I don't see how you could be okay with somebody calling Daisy an underage prostitute bar girl. I don't see that. I don't see how you can say it's okay to not remove the comment and tell the person don't talk like that. There's no proof. I don't see how you could be upset about that, but you are. So what the Philippines philosopher says has come full circle. It's come full circle. He says it's come 360. Fuck, it's come 360. It's called come 3. It's come full circle. Nobody says it's come 360. Or there's been a 180, a change, 180, an opposite change of the poles, 180 reversal, not 180 degrees change. There's been a reversal. There's been a pole change. You don't say it's come 360 degrees. It's come full circle is the proper expression. But either way, people are now talking things that are probably not true about the Philippines philosopher's wife. I mean, if I had to, because there's not been any substantiated proof, I would say that things are not true and that they shouldn't be allowed to be commented like that on a channel. That's what I would personally say. Now, he's going to use my reasoning as Fazio backs me up. Well, yeah, you have to kind of back up. The truth is, there's no proof. There's no proof whatsoever. So then you shouldn't allow it on your channel. So Big Kevin's channel, which is a drama channel, thrives on drama. Now, I like drama. I enjoy watching a good drama. I enjoy watching all this shit take place in the Philippines, and I certainly agree that drama is a big attraction. Well, here we have two people that enjoy drama in it up between the two of them. I guess they say they drummed up some drama. I don't know. Tell me your opinion. Voice me your opinion. While there's still room on this screen, because insult generator has been oh yeah. Okay, that's true. He's okay, insult generator. We don't like being lied to by a 70. Okay, so insult generator is now. I can see some of his comments make sense, but Scott, he's in charge. He's the moderator. So yeah, I agree with you, insult generator. So, but anyway, I'm the only person that can see your comments, so I'm not going to read any more of them unless Scott decides to change his ruling. Scott has made a ruling. Jack Thompson, welcome to the machine. Jack Thompson is also a major contributor to the Fazio Foundation in far as super chat and friendship is concerned. Honey, vegetables, yeah. Whoa, what is that? What is this?
Meat
Whoa,
with rice and vegetables. Don't eat all, yeah?
don't eat all? Okay. Daisy just made me some fried salami. I said, may I have some vegetables? She made me fried salami and then warmed up the vegetables with chicken liver. And the salami we got from America. I bought 33 pounds of salami. So let's see what your opinion is about, right, Warren, he does mean a 180. Because now it's come back on him. But he uses those terms incorrectly, but I can't. Oh, and rice. I can't, when he used, well, he doesn't know how to use the English language properly. That's my opinion. Because he calls, like he says the word absorb, A-B-S-O-R-B, absorb. The absorption rate of cotton is 20%. Or the absorption rate of a sponge is 80%. He says the word azorb. Why? Because he either can't read English or he can't pronounce it. I don't know which one. Of course, he tells you that he has a hearing impediment, and I have a hearing impediment too, and I think I pronounce my words properly. And he can't say the word aluminum. Can't say the word aluminum. Now, we're going to have to hear a 35-minute dissertation that he can say the word absorb. He's going to practice that for 3 hours in front of a mirror. I'm absorbing all of this. Not absorbing, I'm absorbing. Absorbing. All right. Now, let's go on. Warren is correct. Often when he says 360, it means a 180 reversal. So a reversal means you're going in this direction, and when you reverse it, 180 degrees is back. He uses the term 360, where you're going in this direction, and if it's a 360, it means you're going in this direction still, like a locomotive wheel. But a 180 is a reversal, where two things go in opposite direction. He doesn't understand English. But all that being said, there is now a war on YouTube, and I missed it on Big Kevin's channel. I like to see this stuff happen live, and I'm sorry that I missed it. I had to watch it this morning. I got up at 5 o'clock to watch it. And then to listen to the Philippines philosopher's rebuttal.
Dessert in your lip.
Mm-hmm. Now, the Philippines philosopher's rebuttal to Big Kevin's channel is to mass flag Big Kevin's channel and have his channel removed because he allowed Roberto the Brown American expat to say those things on Big Kevin's channel. Do I agree with that? No, I don't agree with it. It might be a rule on YouTube that that's what should happen, but I don't agree with it. I've never asked anybody to mass flag a channel. If I did, then I would ask people to mass flag anybody that talked bad about Daisy May. And I have never asked for that. So it's okay for the Philippines philosopher to mass flag Big Kevin's channel, but it's not okay for me to ask people to mass flag anybody's channel that talks about Daisy May. I'm just not like that. I got 20 pounds of cheese in the refrigerator, and occasionally I might get upset about something, but professional rat somebody that spends 6 hours a day doing the long form on YouTube. No, I'm not a professional rat. I might make a complaint once in a while, but eating cheese is a hobby, not a way of life for me. Okay. Daisy is back. Hold on. I didn't have a piece of salami yet, honey.
I will eat that.
Where were you?
Outside, talking to my mother and a friend.
Okay, so Daisy was outside talking to her mother and her friend for almost 2 hours. And I didn't know where she was. She could have went to the store. But actually, that would have been a bad guess because the refrigerator is full. Yep, Jack Thompson says, only a couple of people know my family business. Fuck you, Johnny Wad. Swallower. Okay. Johnny Wad has been on the Philippines Philosopher's Channel for 2 years, getting these kind of insults to Daisy May. Now, I've never confronted him. I'm waiting for him to walk up to me in a mall or a store and say, hi, I'm Johnny Wad. That's what I'm waiting for. That'll be an interesting conversation. But he ain't never going to do that. It ain't never going to happen. Johnny Wad is a troll that makes up stories on YouTube that will never confront you personally. Never going to happen. Chances of the moon being made out of cheese are better than Johnny Wad confronting anybody because he's just a troll on YouTube.
You want the water?
No, I have, well, after I'm done with this is my third bottle.
Oh, yeah.
All right. All right. Insult generator. You have been shit canned by Scott Del Fuego. Okay, so Scott Del Fuego, can you imagine being, so that's, insult generator is a professional troll, by the way. He came on trolling me for something I do believe, that the earth is flat, and then he made 30 or 40 comments that were normal, and then he started with the bullshit and got shit canned by Scott Del Fuego. Can you imagine being so pathetic you make 30 or 40 accounts in one name to spam YouTube live streams and go to the bother to do all of that? Now that he's talking about, I think there are stories I have heard, I'm not sure, that the Philippines philosopher has multiple accounts. And 2 weeks ago, he made a live stream denying that he has any other account than his normal everyday account. But that the fact that he went on and made such a stink that he has no other accounts makes me believe that it wasn't the truth. That's how much I believe in his. The only thing I believe that's true is that he has 2 sets of fucking rules. 1 set of rules for him and 1 set of rules for everybody else. So it's okay for Johnny Wad and that other jerk to come on and make comments about Daisy May on his channel, but it's not okay for Roberto to go on Big Kevin's channel and do the same thing. That's not okay. That's being two-faced. Now, if he wants to be two-faced, everybody knows he's two-faced. I don't particularly know anything about his personal life other than what he's expressed towards me. But what I do know is that I, Michael Fazio, was part of a Philippines blogger survey that Aloe de Winter made. I thought it was rather good. I didn't see the survey until this morning. I didn't know what it was about. I don't normally take surveys. But it was about Philippines bloggers. And I only made the survey in 1 category. All the rest, the Philippines philosopher won every category. Who's the most likely to not tell the truth? Philippines philosopher. Who's the most likely, who's the most disliked blogger? Philippines philosopher. Who's the most this? Philippines blog. He won every category, and I only placed like fourth in one place. Al de Winter said, who is the most likely to have an aneurysm on YouTube? And I garnished 10%. Philippines philosopher won with 63% or something like that, and Obama came in second with 25%. I think Peter took some of that, and I got 10%. It's the only place I really warranted taking any percentage worthwhile as it was. So, and I laughed my butt about that. All right.
In the night and the morning sun.
That's right, Warren. The wrenches are strong in here. Jedi. Hi, hello, Jedi. Welcome to the machine. I didn't see you. Yeah, so anyway, so I don't know who has how many accounts. I know I have 5 YouTube channels on my homepage, and those are the only YouTube channels I have.
Gamay, Utok, and the Gamay, Oten. Warren each.
Jack Thompson said, good point, Daisy, when you went like this.
Salamat!
Okay, so we have another troll here. Thank you.
Daghan, troll.
Well, we have a Daghan trolls, many trolls.
Nasa wage.
The wrenches are strong in here. If the Philippines philosopher says, Warren says, if the Philippines philosopher says X is true, it means X is wrong. That's Warren's opinion. But I agree with that. So when he came on and said he only has one channel, I would think he has multiple channels. When he comes on and thinks that Johnny Wad's statements are funny and goes, like that, well, yeah, that's probably true when he sees the comment appear on his page. It's his channel. He can do what he wants. But I know things. I know that fucking Johnny Wad would never say that shit to my face. I know that. No. When I met those 2 guys in Cebu last week, I both said the same thing to both of them. The first guy I was kidding around about. The second guy looked like a tough guy. He said, me and you have to fight? Well, we can fight right here. There'll be an ambulance there in seconds. No. I've been a subscriber of yours for years. I said, okay, that's up to you. Because he was a good-sized guy. And when we shook hands, his hands were like a rock. I didn't even believe he was 70 years old. I thought he was in his 50s. But the truth is that we were in a mall surrounded by hundreds of people. But we had a fight. You can rest assured it's not going to go much more serious than a knockout. Not in a mall with all those cameras, but it would be a good place to have a fight, actually, because the ambulance service is going to be minutes away, and there's going to be medical technicians right there. You don't have to wait. He don't have to wait. I don't have to wait for attention. I don't know, Scott, what rock they crawled out of. Mercury says, I ate a late dinner, come back to work. Maybe he means he's back at work, building a fence around his house with his wife. Boy, this guy insult generators really fucking up. Could you imagine? Now, I could make this easy. I could just ban insult generator from commenting, but if insult generator wants to spend 2 hours making comments that nobody sees, I'm okay with that, because I don't give a fuck what he thinks. Now, Warren, according to Alo de Winter's survey, the Philippines Philosopher's Channel was not making him any friends. So, right? Who was the most, I think one of the questions was, who is the most disliked blogger in the Philippines community? The Philippines Philosopher, I think he took that category by 73%. I didn't even rate in that one. JLB was 8%. Peter Van Diva was 15 or 20%, or 15%, and Obama took 10% or something like that. Whatever the numbers were, it was 73, 10, and 10, and 5, whatever it was. Yeah, it was. It would be better to have a fight in the mall than being stabbed on a New York City street and being brought back to life. I did that once. That wasn't a lot of fun. Yeah, that wasn't much fun at all. Thanks for stating. Some places are better to get into a fight than others. Okay, so the drama is that now let's talk about Quinton Ballou has also kicked into the drama after not talking about Philippines philosophers for a solid week, ignoring him, and every single live stream the Philippines philosopher did talked about Quinton Ballou being a coward and not apologizing correctly. Oh, it's okay for the Philippines philosopher to say that Quinton Ballou, the great Dave Phelps, if you want to, the great Dave Phelps, I don't know, I missed the video. Well, the great Dave Phelps said somehow, I'm ad-libbing, that he forgives the Philippines philosopher, with the caveat that he forgives the Philippines philosopher because he knows the Philippines philosopher is fucked up in the head. That was what I heard Dave Phelps said. But the Philippines philosopher took it as an apology. And then the Philippines philosopher went one step further and said, you forgive me. You should have to get on your hands and knees and suck my blah, blah, blah. If you want forgiveness from me, you are never going to get forgiveness from me. Oh, the problem with that is the Philippines philosopher is famous for saying bad things about good people, like what he said about Warren H. That Warren H. should die. Die, you motherfucker, die. He said that on the Shill's live stream on the channel of the Shill. He said to my friend Warren H., die, you motherfucker, die. Die of cancer, you motherfucker, die. That was okay for the Philippines philosopher to say. Then he made some half-assed apology, in my opinion, and said, if you don't accept my apology, go fuck yourself. That's my apology. I gave it. But the great Dave Phelps can't make an apology that's acceptable. So you have to accept the Philippines philosopher's apology because he said you have to, because that's his apology. But there's nothing that Dave Phelps could do short of getting on his knees and sucking the Philippines philosopher's como se llama, and then he still wouldn't accept the apology. And that's where the double standard takes place. Everything about that channel is double standards. All right. So, this was delicious, Daisy. I'm not going to finish this.
Okay, so
Thank you. My girl. Yeah.
Hello, Ate Princess Anud. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hello,
Special.
the trolls.
This is a special announcement to all the trolls,
Yeah, baby.
all the two-faced bloggers, all the people that don't accept apologies, all the people that allow other people to state bullshit on their channel, but get mad when other people state bullshit about them. This is for you. This is for all the people out there that have two faces in the YouTube community. This is for the person that won every single category in Al de Winter's with survey. This is for that guy. There you go. Sit on this. All right, Mercury saying hi. Hi, Miss Daisy.
Hello, Mercury. Say hi to your wife.
Warren says, I didn't hear his apology, nor did he send me his apology, so it's not been issued. So apparently the public apology, no one's listening to it or watching the public apology. Jack Thompson has some philosophical engineering here. That apology is like sucking a tit through a sweater. Not so much fun. Jedi says shitload of trolls, and there are. Jedi likes your new dress. That was a gift. That was a gift from Dell, right? Yeah. That was a gift from the wife of one of the world's most famous people. And I mean one of the world's most famous people. Is a good friend of mine. We had some Chardonnay. That was what I couldn't think of. Some alcohol. Sangria. Sangria. We had some sangria at his house last Wednesday night. Wednesday, yeah? Yeah, I think it was Wednesday. And then his wife gave Daisy this dress and then a beautiful gown.
Yeah.
And something else, right?
Yeah, a jumper.
A what?
A jumper.
What's a jumper?
I don't know.
Well, his wife gave Daisy 3 beautiful gowns. Daisy, you could show them to her. So, and when I say my super chat, my members of my Patreon community know who I'm talking about. But actually physically, now how many people on YouTube can say they are friends with one of the world's most famous people? In other words, I think you could mention this man's name. A jumper. Beautiful
dress. Tube. This is a tube dress.
A tube dress. Yeah, show it. Down a little bit.
No?
Yeah, back up. This is a tube dress. And that was worn by one of the world's most famous people's wife, which I consider a great accomplishment, or I consider it a compliment, not accomplishment.
And this one.
And this corduroy, a denim jump, like a denim dress. Okay. Now, if anybody my age or older would know who this man is. Now, I didn't know who he was when I met him, and I worked with him for about 6 or 7 hours. He asked me to come by to do a job with him, and I said, I got nothing. I got plenty of time, and I got a chainsaw. I'll come over and help you do some work at your house. And he told me his name, and I shook his hand, and I worked with him for about 6 hours. He's much older than me, twice my strength, never broke a sweat, and he's twice my strength and many years older than me. Never broke a sweat. Never got tired. Never did. I cut the trees. He humped the trees out of the forest, and when we were working together, he would pick up these logs and hand them to me with one hand extended like this. Extended one hand. He'd hand me a 40-pound piece of lumber with one hand extended while standing straight up, and his arm was elbow extended straight out. He'd hand me a 40-pound log like this. Okay? Nobody can do that. He could do it. And he is way older than me. Anyway, that guy, I call him that guy. He's, him and I have been very close friends for a long time, about 5 years, about 3 years, since I met Daisy. And we were invited over for some sangria, right?
Yeah.
And it was I never had sangria. I'm not an alcohol person, but I had some of I had one glass. It wasn't even full in a wine glass. It was the most delicious drink I think I ever can remember drinking. So anyway, and then his wife gave Daisy those things, and now of course I'm going to take him out for dinner this week for those gifts. But yeah, it's interesting. So I find it interesting. I mean, you don't get invited to this guy's house for dinner or sangria. Not the average person is not going. He might meet 100 people a month that want to shake his hand, but he doesn't socialize with more than just a few people on a personal level. So I think it's quite the compliment. Jedi, Mike is lands. Jedi, land is doubling every 6 months. The price of land. You can't drive at the speed limit. You can't drive for 5 seconds on any street in Bohol without seeing new construction. Land is doubling every 6 months. The contract that I have that I can sell for this hotel is probably worth 20 million pesos to sell the contract for the rental agreement that I have. I would never sell it, and they can't get out of it. Even if I didn't pay the rent for 2 years, I wrote that into a corporate lawyer wrote it into the newest agreement that I have with the landlord. I needed to have something, an addendum made, and a corporate lawyer put in that if Michael Fazio fails to pay the rent for a period up to 2 years, nobody will be able to sue to reclaim the property until the 2-year non-rental payment has expired. So if I decided not to pay today in 2019, I wouldn't have to pay till today's date in 2021. However, I pay the rent on time. And even though I gotta tell you, there's some freaking asshole on YouTube that says I pay the rent a month in advance. Fucking idiot. Everybody pays the month of rent a month in advance. Every rental agreement is for the month coming up, not for the month that just passed. But this fucking idiot on YouTube, I pay the rent 1 month in advance. I'm a good tenant. They take the ants out of my house. Fuck you. You pay the rent 1 month in advance. There is no fucking renter in the world that doesn't pay the rent a month. But he wants to pat himself on the fucking shoulder because he's too fucking stupid to understand contract law. When you rent a place on January 1st and you give them $100 for fucking rent for January 1st, that's not for the month of December. You weren't in there in December. It's for the month of January, not a fucking month of December. You're paying in advance. So if he's that fucking stupid that he doesn't understand contract law, if he's that fucking stupid and that's the case, everybody pays rent a month in advance. And if he did somehow pay an additional month in advance, what's the big fucking deal? It's a lousy fucking 13,000 pesos. It's $260 fucking dollars. What are you, some kind of fucking superhero to the landlord? You're fucking, it's $260 fucking dollars. It's a month's rent. And you're going to be able to stay there for 2 months if you fall down on your payments. I got to hear this shit almost every fucking live stream the motherfucker does. I pay the rent a month in advance. Every fucking person pays the rent a month in advance. But getting back to my contract, I don't have to pay the rent for 2 years, and they can't even fucking attack me with a lawsuit. No lawsuits can be attached to my contract for 2 years. Until 2 years, I didn't pay the rent. So I have a rental property, to answer Jedi's property, that was worth shit when I rented it 3 years ago, and now it's worth, I would say it's worth 20 million pesos. It could be worth more, not worth less. But I don't have any intentions on selling the contract. But I have it in the contract that I can sell it, and I can walk down the fucking block this afternoon and sell it before Tuesday. Figure 48 hours to draw up the agreement and sign it. I could sell it with a fucking check in my hand for 20 million pesos, $200,000 by Tuesday afternoon. So for all you fucking people out there that want to know my business, that's my business. I wrote the contract, not breakable, and I made one mistake, and the fucking lawyer put something in that should have never been put in there, and I got that amended. I have a strong, solid contract that a corporate lawyer in Cebu read and revised, added one addendum with 4 stipulations, and added a second addendum extending the period of rent from 3 months to 2 years, that if I fail on my rental payments. So I have probably the strongest contract that you could possibly have, which means I could turn around and, now, before I got those amendments, I couldn't sell the contract for 10 cents. It was worthless. It was just paper. After I got those amendments, I could turn around and make 20 million pesos on this property and go get, and believe it or not, the corporate lawyer is one member of a friend of mine's. I won't tell you where they're from, but I could get beachfront property on a white sand beach for free. They just want to give me the property for 20 years if I'll build a building on their property. Free. No money at all. I have a friend of mine in Cebu that said to me, our family has 5 properties on a white sand beach. You can have ours. Daisy, am I telling the truth?
Yeah.
You can have our property for free. We don't even want rent. You just put a building up. Now, will they be around in 20 years to collect the money on the property? Nope, they will not be. We're all almost the same age. They will not be alive to collect money. But I have some people besides Warren and Carl and Scott and Mercury and Jack and Blue Rose and Gary Bonoya and many others. I have some people that care about me a great deal, but this deal was presented to me the last time 2 times ago. I was in Cebu. We went out to dinner at 101 in Cebu, a fantastic place to have a buffet meal. Too much food I ate. We all ate too much food, but it was presented to me. If the contract fails, if they don't sign the contract and there's any further problems with the contract, because you can't build on that property. You can stay there and live in your shack for as long as you like until they throw you out. But don't build 10 cents worth of a structure on that property till you get this amendment. When I got the amendment, they said, here's the deal. Here's what we'll do for you. We will give it to you free of charge. We'll sign a 20-year lease agreement. Your property for 20 years. We want no rent at all. They will not be alive in 20 years, just like I won't be alive in 20 years to collect the property. They have a child or children, and they will give me the property, and then the property will eventually revert back to the children of the family. There are 5 contiguous pieces of land.
No, we're gonna pay you.
What?
They're gonna pay you the building. You build the building.
They're gonna pay us too?
Yeah.
I missed that part. Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I wasn't interested. When did I? Where was I? What was I up getting shrimp or something like that? Was I there when they said that?
Yeah, here, this side.
I don't remember that part. Okay, Daisy just told me they would pay me to build. They would pay me to take the property. I didn't remember that part. I wasn't interested, and when I'm not interested in something, I don't remember the details. So if I wanted to, now I could get a piece of property for 100% free, and they're going to pay me apparently. Thanks. Okay, I don't even remember that part. Anyway, the sweater is called a jumper. Warren says. Daisy is the most famous. No, yeah, well, Daisy might be the most famous. No, I don't think Daisy is the most famous Philippines blogger's girlfriend or wife. Certainly, in my opinion, the best. There's no doubt about that. But that's just an opinion. Jedi, Miss Daisy, pretty dress. Jedi, Mike, is land still going up in price? Land is nuts. Land is nuts. I could have bought a piece of property for $40,000, which is 2 million pesos. It's worth 25 million pesos today. He was offered 25 million pesos and he won't sell. Same like my property. Same thing, just went nuts. And because my property is all coral and the foundation is much more solid, I can build a 3-story building, with 4 stories with the equipment room. Anyway, yeah, land. So it went up 6 times from the price that he bought it. Around this, a little bit before I rented this property, 6 times the price, and he won't even think about selling it. Okay, won't even think about it, and it went up 6 times. 6 could turn over his money. A 10 million peso investment, which is 10 million pesos is $200,000 investment. He can turn around and sell for 25. Well, he has a house on it also. He could turn around and sell it for 25 million pesos and won't even think about it. So he can 2.5 times his investment in 3 years since the house was done. It went up, and I'm thinking he's 68 years old. I'm thinking he's going to die in the house. He says he's going to retire when he's 70. I looked at him a few days ago. He looks like a bone factory, and someone put some skin on a bone factory, except he's got a pot belly because he drinks 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 beers a day. So property value has gone nuts. Bye-bye, Mercury 3. Okay, so apparently Mercury 3 is going to sleep. Good night, Mercury. Good night, Laura Segrust. All right, Randall Law needs a cigarette. Go have your cigarette. Jedi, the wrenches are well dressed, greased up today. Yes, they are. Wow, 1.5. Wow, what the hell have you been doing? Hello, wow, you are a freaking troll from hell there. Okay, so the troll killer. We have the troll killers. Daisy is the most famous person. She's pretty famous. And everywhere we go, everybody has nice things to say about Daisy. She's a wonderful girl. I think I might be the only person that ever gets upset with Daisy. Right, honey? Did you hear me?
No, I'm going.
She didn't hear me. That's good. Jedi. That's what he said. The quickest wrench in the West. All right. Good night, Laura LaRue. Warren says someone has no life at all and has many troll accounts. That guy has a shitload of troll accounts. All right. So Warren's going to go make lunch. You are troll parole, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Warren, for helping out there. Yes, that's true. And it does takes them 5 minutes. What I should do is just review this. Let's go. Let Let's go over here. Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna. Okay, I can't. While I'm here, I can't. While I'm on the channel, I can't block them because you already blocked them. So, if I'll take care of the next one if I see it. Play it safe, Daisy. All right, I'm still here for a bit. Mercury's still here for a bit. Okay, that's nice. Lefty all around. Hello, Lefty all around. Welcome to the machine. My aircon was out last week. It was 90 degrees and humid here. Finally got it fixed. Lucky because it was 101 and 80% humidity here today. Brutal. That is brutal. But I'm used to that kind of weather. All right. But this guy's 5 minutes. He just Mercury, you got that one. The fastest moderator in the West, East and North. Oh boy. All right. All right. So that's pretty much what I have to say about the Philippines philosopher. He has a double set of standards, and he likes being punished. He is a glutton for punishment. Come on. I don't care how fast the guy types. Why he's here, I don't understand. He's not getting anywhere. 5 minutes, boom, 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 gone. Adios, amigo. That's funny. All right, so now it's just a big joke. This guy, that's the third account. He's got a 1.5 volt with a green, and he's got one with an orange. He can type 270 words a minute. He types fast. All right, so the Philippines philosopher, getting back to that, has a double set of standards, double standard. You're allowed to say anything derogatory against anybody's wife or girlfriend on his channel, but not allowed to say anything derogatory about anybody in his family on your channel. That's a double standard, and that's okay. That's his point of view. Wow. Wow. Now he's just being an asshole. So, all right. He's just being a complete asshole. Okay, I put him on a timeout, so we can't even